I don't think he's a 7-4 shot against all them. The talk in Willie Mullins is that Mighty Park is the second coming, but he's had one run in a maiden hurdle and he won by 38 lengths.
I think he is potentially the next coming. I really do. You know, you talk about great Cheltenham Chase or Sprinter Sacra or Moscow Fair. I think he has that sprinter aura to me.
I don't think he's a quirky horse. I just think he's made odd jumping errors, and I think they're smoothed out. I mean, he'd probably be my nap at the moment. I really do think he's going to win. I was really taken with him.
I think 10-1 Ballyburn is, to me, the class act in the race. I think he's great value, and I'm very sweet with Ballyburn.
And he's going to be Willie's only runner, probably.
It looks like that, yeah.
You could actually go along here if someone said one of those 10 horse won the Gold Cup. You wouldn't be completely shocked.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Wide open.
But if you were someone who said you could ride one horse, what would you'd? I don't know. I think it'd be a close call between Gaelic Warrior and Galloping the Champ.
So guys, this is the official Cheltenham Preview Night. It's brought to you by William Hill. We are filming in front of a live audience. My name is Jane Mangan, and just for clarification, I'm joined by Ross Brierley, Barry Geraghty, Leonna Mayor, Sir AP McCoy and Dave Kelner. Let's kick on into the Supreme. DK set us up. This is going to be one of the most talked about novice races of the festival, probably of the season. What are you thinking?
It's going to be an unbelievable race. William Hill's big offer ahead of day one is that epic boost for any favourite to win on the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival, going even money from 1 to 16. A favourite has won, or a joint, on the opening day of the festival for the last 17 years. So that's the epic boost on day one. Our worst result here is Old Park Star, who tops the betting at 7-4. A couple of weeks back, we went 9-4 for Old Park Star to win the race. Incredibly popular in recent weeks. That 9-4 has gone into 7-4, and we're actually happy that Mighty Park is running here in preference to the Turners. 100-30 Mighty Park, talk the talk in the betting at 5-1. El Kairos is 6-1. The other bogey in the book, if you will, is My Daddy Paddy, who we laid at 33-1 before the season back in September. 10-1 now, having slightly blotted his copybook in the William Hill Formby last time out. So the two we want beat here, Old Park Star at 7-4, and My Daddy Paddy's been popular all the way from 33s down to 10s. Okay,
well, I think AP, you've kind of indicated already that you think Old Park Star will get beaten. Who's going to beat him?
He's been very impressive. He's won, but he's 7-4 against Mighty Park, Talk the Talk. Alcaraz, Gordon Elliott said he's the fastest horse that he's pretty much ever had. My Daddy Paddy, very, very good traveller. Was disappointing last time. Sober Glory was really impressive in Newbury. Even a horse like Sober, I don't know if he's going to go here or not. Such a strong field. I don't think he's a 7-4 shot against all them. The talk in Willie Mullins is that Mighty Park is the second coming, but he's had one run in a maiden hurdle and he won by 38 lengths.
But they would know, wouldn't they?
Well, they've got 300 of them, so you'd think they should be able to. You'd think if anyone's going to know. I mean, it's mad to think that Willie Mullins is going to have probably 75 runners next week in Cheltenham. So there's going to be probably 65 disappointed groups of owners.
He'd 79 last year.
Yeah, so it just shows you he's very, very powerful, but there are going to be a lot of disappointed owners too. So I don't know. Just a brilliant Supreme Novice hurdle. I don't think Old Park Star is that far ahead of the rest of them.
Well, you don't want to
I'd probably pick Alcaraz. I think he was a decent bumper horse. He ran well in the Cheltenham bumper. Just Gordon, is not he said he's he really, really.
I said what about Ballyfad a while ago to him? He said Alcaraz would ate him.
Yeah, so, and
in that accent he'd ate him.
Ballyfad is a very good horse, so you know when you think about Talk the Talk was, I mean again if he runs here he's a good horse too. I just think it's not like Gordon. I know that he said about Brighter Eyes Ahead and she got beat when he fancied her here, but the horses that he talks up, the likes of Don Cossack and Sam Crow, I think it was, he doesn't really get it wrong a lot of the time. So I think at the prices, I'd rather be on him at the price he is than Old Park Star at 7-4.
That's interesting. So Leonna, you're watching the UK form as well. We're obviously very close to the Irish form. Are you in agreement with AP in that? Are the best novices in the Supreme across the water?
I think as AP said, it's a really strong renewal. I did a staff William Hill preview, and I think we struggled between us, didn't we, with the top couple. So I did the obvious thing that I would always do and look much further down. Sober Glory, so we got Sober and Sober Glory. When Sober Glory won at Chepstow, I think Philip Hobbs nearly cried in his winning interview because he was so taken with the horse he thought he'd got. And I think, for me, obviously Philip Hobbs had a lot of good horses over the years, and they were very much thinking that, you know, they'd really got something good, which they perhaps haven't had in recent years. I mean, he won by 12 lengths on that occasion. He's only had one blip since then. He's a horse we've seen well up on a sounder surface, so I'm not too worried. We don't need the heavy ground, I don't think. And he was the one for me. I just don't know why he's 14s in comparison to what we've seen for a few. I'm not saying right now he's shown as good a form as Old Park Star, but should there be that real big price discrepancy between the two, for me, Sober Glory should be a single figure price. So at 12s, 14s, as and when the day comes, I would imagine that's where I would have a bet if I was going to.
It's mad to say it about a person like Philip Hobbs, who's trained the amount of winners he has, but when it comes to trainers, I think the supreme people back trainers. Sober Glory was one that you mentioned as well in a previous day I met you, Barry. It's an each way price. Who's your idea of the winner?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with what AP says. I think Old Park Star, he looks a very good horse, but there's a lot of quality in there. Talk to Talk, Alkairas both fell when going to win Grade 1s. You know, the winners since, but, you know, maybe we haven't seen their full potential. But Sober Glory, I'll be with Leonna on that. I've been really impressed by him. He did disappoint in Sandown. That's the only day he's been beaten. But there's a bit of a sober team going on with the...
Oh, no, we'll give you that chance now. I will give you that platform. That's the Turners.
I think Sober Glory is good value against Old Park Star. For me, he's too short with the quality that's up against him.
Fair enough. Ross, strong opinion or not on the screen?
I mean, the main opinion is it is an absolute blinding race this year. And I mean, you want that to bring the curtain up. You know, we all get excited for the Supreme regardless. And you have your years where, I don't know, when Appreciate one is a bit of a... You had maybe one, maybe two good horses in there.
Classical Dream was one that sprung to my mind.
Yeah, there's always races like that. This is not that sort of race. But there's always a benchmark you have to hit. And I'd say there's about 4 or 5 horses in here who've already hit that benchmark and will improve again. Because they will improve half a stone here for championship pace, for, you know, the big day. This is going to be... We're going to see something emerge from the pack. I think Old Park Star looks fantastic. Nicky was a bit flabbergasted, I think, by how well he won last time out. Speed figure-wise, right up there. You know, done what you need to do to win a Supreme. Mighty Park has done as well, remarkably, in one run, barely coming off the bridle. The one who hasn't is El Kairos, who he might be the fastest horse Gordon's ever trained, and he's trained sprinters to win at Dundalk, so, you know, he probably knows what he's talking about in that regard. But I don't know, I think he's got a bit too much to find. I think he'll be a good horse in time. I think Sober Glory and My Daddy Paddy are the value. I would have fancied Idaho Sun if he turned up. My Daddy Paddy, probably a bit more of a slightly long-term prospect. But Sober Glory looks a bit of a monster. He needs to prove he's on a flat-track bully because he's looked fantastic twice at Newbury. But those two figures are fantastic. They're absolutely top draw. Of course, Philip Hobbs Manora in this a few years ago. And that race has thrown up Shadow Leader, Arcalis and Alpha Off, took in that novice at Newbury, came here and won the Supreme. It's actually a really good springboard. It's not used very often. The only worry for Sober Glory is the blot at Sandown. What happened there? Because that was the first time he went into Grader Company and he came around the bend and he just went out like a light. So, but Sandown can be a funny track. Some horses don't like it. He has to prove he likes Cheltenham, but he's too big and he's a very, very good horse. But I can't wait to see him jump a fence mainly, but he's got a big chance.
I think that whole chat has exemplified just how competitive the Supreme is. I don't think we're any strong on any particular horse. Only that Sober Glory is overpriced. El Kairos for AP. Barry?
Yeah, I think Sober Glory is value.
No mention for Talk to Talk.
Of?
Talk to Talk.
He done very well to win last time. I think JJ Slevin, if you owned him and he got beat, you'd have dragged him off because he didn't half get him out of there.
Do you own many horses, AP?
Do I own? If he had got beat, you promise you'd have been very disappointed. Do you not think so, no? He done well.
No, I agree. I actually thought he was beat.
A long way. I know that Joseph wanted him to ride him confidently and all that, but he didn't half get him out of it, so he didn't. Definitely a good horse. I think he might have been better off. I think he might be better off in the other race, to be honest. Well, the only thing before we get any further is, Jane, is most of these horses have been running on pretty testing ground all year.
Yeah.
I walked Cheltenham on Monday. You have no idea how much is dried out.
Okay.
Like, they could be water in here by Thursday or Friday. How mad is that?
Lord.
So you're going to have completely different conditions when most of these have been running all year.
Yeah.
That's
There
kind
you
of why I like Alcaraz, because I think you might have the speed.
You've got the guns and you've got the change of speed. That is the Supreme in a nutshell. It's a little bit of a conundrum. We move on to what is, I think, a straight shootout in the Arkle. Maybe I'm wrong. We've got an enthralling match between the once raced Kopek de Board over fences and Lulamba. It looks like a big field there, DK, but I don't think there's going to be a big field lineup.
This is going to be an absolute belter, isn't it? You've got the two you want at the top of the betting. Kopek de Board is the one that's been incredibly popular over the last 24 hours or so. He's into 6-4 now and heads the betting. It's 2-1 Lulamba. Cargisi is 6-1. Romeo Coolio in the betting at 7s, 12-1 and bigger the rest. Kopek de Board is the big loser for William Hill in the book here. The market's really swung in his favour. He was short to 7-4. Following his impressive Chase debut, then knocked out again to 7-2 following that setback, and that prevented him from running at Christmas and at the Dublin Racing Festival as well. He's now back into clear favouritism. Lulamba 2-1. I suppose you've got two very different horses here. Kopek de Board with that speed. Lulamba is going to be seen to better effect over further in time, you would think. But for William Hill, we're happy to lay the pair here because there's doubts potentially over both of them, and you're betting like circa 1-3 if you couple them here. So we're happy to lay those two, but what beats one of them? I suppose that's the question, Jane.
Okay, well, that's a question we'll put to the panel. I'm going to start with you, Barry, because we're hearing unbelievable stuff about these pieces of work that Kopek de Board is doing. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call them pieces of work, but he had one run over fences in Navan, and the further he went, the better he got. And to me, he was brilliant down over the last 3. Like a 2-mile chaser, you want them measuring, you want them quick, you want them nimble. But above all, you need a horse with pace. So at all stages through this race, he's going to be in 4th gear, where Lulamba, I feel, will be in 5th gear. And when you're on top gear and you're jumping and turning, as you are in Cheltenham down the back straight, running downhill to fences, you need to be travelling within yourself. And Kopek de Board, to me, has that pace to travel within himself. He's only had the one run, but these pieces of work, they were schooling sessions over fences at pace. So if you were to try and replicate a race, and Willie Mullins brings out horses like Impire Pass as a lead horse for Kopek de Board, you know, you won't get better quality.
It's a little bit like Aidan O'Brien bringing out Highland Reel to lead.
So that's experience.
Camelot.
It's also race day experience he gets because he's at the races at that day. So he's getting the chance to soak in the atmosphere. Is he going to be a little bit on edge? He's to settle in, find the rhythm at his jumping. But he's not under pressure, but he's been tested from word go. So to me, he might lack the experience on paper, but I think he has got that experience in those schooling sessions. I think he is potentially the next coming. I really do. You know, you talk about great 2-mile chase or sprinter Sacra or Moscow Fair. I think he has that sprinter aura to me.
He'd suit you.
I would love to have gone him, yeah. About 10 years ago.
AP, you said at the beginning you weren't really a believer in Lulamba for the Arkle, but he is possibly a Gold Cup horse of the future.
Oh, I think he's a very good horse.
Yeah.
And he didn't win a Triumph, but I often think the horse that win a Triumph or get close to winning a Triumph won a trip. I thought he was impressive in the game spirit, but if you watched him for 3 or 4 fences, you'd have thought he was flat to the boards. And I actually thought at one stage that he was in trouble, and then he did win well. But I just don't know if he'll have the pace that the likes of Kopek de Board could have. And he is very inexperienced, but he's, as Barry said, he'll be in 4th gear. He's such a good traveller, such a strong galloper. And look, most good 2-mile chases are on the edge. He has only had 1 run, but I think if you were riding one, you'd pick him. I could see something like Steel Alley running well at a big price. Just a solid horse that has a real tough, strong staying horse. And if they go quick, I could see him running well. But I'm a Kopek de Board.
Okay, 2 very strong votes for Kopek de Board. And he looks supreme in the Supreme last year, Leonna. Is there anything going to get near the front 2?
Unfortunately, we had discussion before this because I really like the look of Capajai Pike that now isn't going to Cheltenham at all. So my each-way horse that I thought could really show up perhaps in one of the Cheltenham races isn't going there. So my lovely 14-1 perhaps doesn't go. I think of the two, as I said before, I don't agree with the boys for all the Cheltenham Festival winners that I rode, so definitely listen to me. I just think the experience of Lulamba, and I think I would rather a horse that's got a little bit more experience, and even if he does race a little bit behind the bridle and takes his time to come into this, I'm fine with that here. I know they will go a bit quicker.
Jane go by last year.
I just think that kind of, having had more chase experience, it also bothers me a little bit, which again, having not ridden over fences in a race, if a horse jumps foot perfect, I don't think it helps them when they make a mistake in a race, because I think things can fall apart pretty quickly. And when they're going very quickly in these championship races, that could happen. So I think out of the two, Lulamba, and I don't have anything at a big price to push that I really believe in.
That's fair enough. I'm a big believer in Lulamba as well. I think if Django Boy is his Gold Cup horse this year, Lulamba will be his Gold Cup horse next year. Ross, I want to quickly touch on Lulamba because he looked to me like he was losing ground in the air in the game spirit. Is there any data on that?
Not in this book.
There's a lot of notes in there.
There's a lot of notes. Yeah, I've pretty much got every other stat probably for the race, but I don't have the yeah.
Do you have any opinion on the Arkle? You don't have to.
No, of course, yeah, but just not on Lulamba's jumping. Although I liked that he went to the game spirit and got that experience. Get those things out of the way before you come to Cheltenham, so that you can go home and you can learn from.
It's Nicky Henderson at 2 miles. Like, you just think he mightn't be a 2-miler, but if anybody's going to get him to win an Arkle, it's him.
Well, exactly. And last year's winner wasn't a 2-miler. I mean, so do you need a 2-miler to win the Arkle?
Well, to beat Kopek to board, you probably do.
Yeah, but this is going to be an absolute stats nightmare for this, because once racehorses are difficult to win with unless AP rides them. So that's pretty much the way for there. Obviously, your
Does Carghazy have any chance of staying in front?
Yeah, I think she's got a cracking chance because she's a Cheltenham horse. Now, she's not as classy as Kopek, but she's got more experience. She might not be as good as Lulamba going forward, but we're not betting on the horse who's going to be best in 2 years. We're betting on the horse who's going to run the race today. She's finished second in the Triumph. She's won a county hurdle, barely breaking sweat. She gave Romeo Coolio a right old fright last time out. She is as tough as old boots, and that's often what wins the Arkle. We saw last year, Majborough, cracking horse, but he just wasn't ready for the race on the day, and he made those mistakes, and that's what got him beat on the run. So she is, if you're an each-way thief, and I'm sure the William Hill representatives would love me saying, yeah, go out and each-way thievery. Yeah, put him in all the each-way doubles. Yeah, he'll give you a boost if you like, if you ask nicely. But Carghazy's got to run a race. She's got to run a race. She's got the experience. She jumps really well. She stays strongly. She battles. And Cheltenham form every single time. And then quickly, the other thing with Lulamba is the 5-year-old stat. But there's not been
too many 5-year-olds like Lulamba.
Yeah, and there's not been that many. I mean, Chief Oipur said as Fletcher Pugarellis, good 5-year-olds can come and win this. So
most of them did get an allowance.
That is true. Things have changed. Yeah, things have changed. So there's. But then
is this your long-winded way of saying nothing?
My long-winded saying what?
I don't know. Where are we going with this?
Combination Tricast first 3 in the betting.
Did anybody get that?
Yeah. Look, Lulamba, I was just waiting for you to get the jumping stats while I preview the race. But no, I think Lulamba is the most likely winner, and I think Carghazy is a bomb-proof each way. And then when you've made a tiny percentage on your returns, you can go and buy yourself.
We have 3 places for each-way punters, because it looks like Irish Panther might go to the champion, and we don't know if. I think July Flower might go to the Mayors. But anyway, that's a question for another day. So we're going to go Lulamba, very strong Kopek. Lulamba. Oh, we're going half and half.
Yeah. Kopek.
Okay, right. Okay, well, that's the Arkle. We move on to the feature race of the day, the champion hurdle. Let's start with you, DK. What is happening this time around?
Yeah, well, you'll all love to hear this, but this is an unbelievable race, anti-post for William Hill, because obviously Constitution Hill was really popular, Sir Gino was really popular, neither have made the big dance on day one. The New Lion has, and is joint favourite along with Lossymouth at 5-2, Brighter Days ahead in there at 4-1, Golden Ace is in the betting at 15-2, last year's winner you just saw, and it's 11-1 and bigger the remainder. It sounds as if Lossiemouth, or the market vibe suggests Lossiemouth is going to go for the champion hurdle, which adds a little bit of lustre to the race now. And it's good news for us as well, because William Hill really want to take on the New Lion. They think this horse is massively underpriced, happy to lay the New Lion at 5-2. And Lossiemouth has been really popular in the last 24 hours. Golden Ace was as big as 66-1 for this race after that flop on reappearance at Wetherby, and he's now into 15-2. Could Golden Ace win the race again? Possibly, but we want to take on the New Lion. If you fancy the New Lion, come and back it at William Hill.
Okay, fair enough. Joint favs at the top. AP, how do you see this shaping up? It mightn't be having Sir Gino or Constitution Hill, but it's competitive.
It's a good race. I think the New Lion might win by default, to be honest. He wasn't that visually impressive here last time. It turned into a bit of a sprint. So it did. He only beat Harry Durham's horse Brentford Hope. There's not much between the two mares, Lossiemouth and Brighter Days Ahead. She's obviously been here a few times and been disappointing, but looks like in the betting that Lossiemouth is going to come here. I think someone bought Willie Mullins cheap pieces for Christmas for all the other horses. I wouldn't be surprised if she has them on here. And
they're working.
I could see her running with them, but and again, Golden Ace was a winner last year. She's a good mare in her own right. I just think there's nothing between any of them mares, and I think the New Lion might just be. I'm not saying that he's Hardy Eustace or Nista Brack or a Faheen that's going to win the 2.5 mile race and come back and be a brilliant champion hurdle winner, but I think he mightn't have to be brilliant to win this one.
If he's ever going to win, it's this year. Is he a real 2-miler in your head?
I think he'll be fast enough to beat them.
Okay.
You know, I think. Look, he looked like Harry Skelton said he wasn't any. It's easy saying when they fall in Newcastle, but he said that he wasn't any doubt he was going to win, and I think he probably was. You know, so I think if you said to me I could ride one horse, I think I'd probably ride him. There's just because there's nothing between the three mares.
It's hard to make too much of a case, and he's the young improver, and it is that one of those champion hurdles, Leonna, where you can have an opinion, and you wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 or 5 of these actually won on the day. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I said to you, the Skeltons were doing a preview the other night, and Dan and Harry couldn't have been any more positive. I know people are about their own horses, but there is that thing of, we're saying he's a 2-miler. They were happy enough to go up pretty swift in trip in the first place, and then they're kind of rocketing back down. I interviewed jockeys briefly after, obviously when he won the International. It was such a messy race. We got nothing from it, did we, other than that he raced keenly. He will settle better because they'll go quicker, and hopefully there'll be a few more runners as well. But if you really like Lou Lambert, you couldn't be too put off Ponyross surely at the prices, because I definitely felt like over in Ireland they were just doing a bit of a let's see where we're at situation.
Do they do that in Ireland?
No, I'm not saying they definitely do it anywhere, but he hadn't ran for a long time and he kind of sat out the back. He made up a little bit of ground in the closing stages. They rode him like a horse who'd not ran for a long time, which I was absolutely fine with. I just thought it was definitely a stepping stone to this. So the fact that I don't think the New Lion is a 2-miler, and as much as some of his jumping, I mean, when he fell at Newcastle, again, I was there that day in person, he jumped a few of the others a bit sketchy as well. He kind of half ducked out at 1 or 2, and I didn't love it. And I think when they're going quick, those errors obviously are a lot more costly, because if you're going over 2.5 and you have a little look, you've got a lot more time to sort your situation out. So I'm not a New Lion fan, unfortunately, but I definitely think Ponyross is overpriced.
He's overpriced. Okay, and he's probably the second string, because Amsterdam will probably be the third. But 5-year-olds have a bad record. Is Catchett the last 5-year-old to win, Ross?
No, it was.
Is it in your book or?
Yes.
Is there anything
What is in that book?
I've completely. It's my personal diary. But it's the completely. It was a JP horse, the 5-year-old. We didn't see it. My latest.
Someone just shouted, we've got audience participation. Shout it again.
In violin, or not in violin, in violin.
Esperdalen.
Gavin Cromwell.
All together now.
All together now. Okay.
Esperdalen.
Thank God you're here.
Oh, great. We'll turn it into a panto.
Well, I don't know if Ponyross is Esperdalen, Barry. What do you like in this year's champion? You won a few of them in your time.
It did, it's a great race, and it might lack the quality, but I think it's really competitive. But to me, it hinged on Lossiemouth. I don't think Lossiemouth turned up anywhere near her best in Leopardstown when Brighter Days Ahead beat her. She didn't travel, she didn't jump. I thought she travelled better behind Constitution Hill 12 months earlier in the Christmas hurdle in Kempton, which is a sharper track. She should have found that more difficult on better ground as well. So I don't think she turned up anywhere near her best at Leopardstown. And the fact that they're considering running her here in the Champion Hurdle to me suggests that she's shown better at home. If they were looking for an easier target, they'd have gone for the Mayor's Race. And if she wasn't on her A game, they would have went that way. I think she'll be on her A game, and I think she's the one to have to beat.
Okay, so split decision, right. So Ross, give us a selection.
I think, again, the solid one, the absolute each-way thievery again, to really ruin Dave's day, is Golden Ace, because she's the only one.
She's solid.
I am guaranteed she will run her race. She's never been out the front two over hurdles over this trip. Admittedly, one of those was second in a two-runner race, but that still fits the stats. She's a dual festival winner. She's beaten the new line. People keep saying she's lucky. She's lucky. Well, she shouldn't have. We wouldn't have wondered if this horse had
We'd all love to be as lucky as her.
Exactly. But she's not just lucky, is she? She's not a 100-to-1 shot who just keeps falling in. She's a genuine Grade 1 quality horse as well. So she will run her race. The new lion, again, is he a genuine two-miler? I mean, you look at the races that Final Demand and the Yellow Clay are running in that he beat at the festival last year. They wouldn't be 5-2 favourite for a champion hurdle, that's for sure. Brighter Days Ahead has had a bad experience last year and then was beaten the year before. And I do think Lossiemouth is probably a little bit better over further. Pony Ross, I think, was again a huge eye catcher. But she is just the bomb-proof one. She'll just run her race. And
She is a little bit lucky, though.
Oh, yeah.
She's rated 152.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's one of the few Grade 1s. Like, if you go to a Constitution Hill or a horse like that, a champion hurdle rated 177 or whatever he was, you know what I mean?
That's true,
That's
but where's
a long way, you know. So
but
she's
where's
a little,
Constitution Hill?
I'm just saying she is a bit lucky.
She is.
She's very good.
Lucky,
You'd love to own her.
Yeah, but she is lucky.
But she's your selection.
She could be lucky. Lightning could strike 3 times.
She could.
You're committed now. Lossiemouth,
Pony Ross.
Pony Ross, the new line.
New lion, yeah.
And that's the Champion Hurdle, DK.
Yeah, just one customer. Just one customer for the new line.
There we go. Well, look, we like to have our own opinions. I'm aware that the tempo we've set for day one is quite slow, so I'm going to give any other business to Ross. You, come on. You're here now for the handicaps. Give us some Ultimas, some National Hunt Chase selections.
Well, the Ultima in particular is the British graded novice cup final. Often, last year's Brown Advisory, for example, had no British novices in it.
The Grand National Trial, isn't it?
It is, yes, a good Grand National Trial as well. But British horses have an incredible record in it.
I wonder why.
Either proper Cheltenham horses or novices. What's that?
I wonder why.
You wonder why?
So the handicapper has a bit to do that, does he?
Oh, I see. Right, is that is there a bit of a bone to pick with the?
No, I've no handicapper, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's. I mean, Irish horses have a terrible record in handicaps, don't they? They come over here and they just never win any.
No.
They just never win any. The Grand National, they never win that. Never win that. But so the Resplendent Grey for Ollie Murphy, I think, is.
Is he going to run the Gold Cup?
He's still entered, but is he?
I saw an interview today and Ollie was like, I'm really trying to persuade the owners not to go there. Ollie's not keen on it.
He
but I
should
think
be in
the
the
owners
Ultima.
want to because they've not had a runner in it before.
Right, okay. Well, I mean...
Let's hope Ollie gets his way.
He won't win the Ultima if he's in the Gold Cup, to be fair, and he won't win the Gold Cup if he's in the Gold Cup, so maybe they should go for the Ultima. But Western Knight and Quebecois are the British novices that make a lot of appeal. And then other handicaps on the day, the Fred Winter, Joseph O'Brien's got a couple in there, Kislyar and Glen to Glen, both very, very interesting. He's just a master in this race of finding the right horse. Quality, speedy flat horses, get them experience over hurdles, and then they explode up the hill.
Glen to Glen's been the talk of a lot of Irish previews. AP, Iroko, Jaguar, really strong chances for JP in the Ultima.
I actually thought that Iroko I thought he'd be well able to give Jaguar £5 until I read what the Guerrero and Greenall team said, that Jaguar would absolutely beat Iroko every day of the week at work and home. But I actually think Iroko's a very good horse. I actually thought he could nearly have been running the Gold Cup. But I think he's only got to give Iroko £5 or give Jaguar £5. If I was picking one, I might have probably picked him. I actually think one of Tom Lacey's horse that ran in Newbury last Saturday, Blow Your Wad, could run all right.
In the Ultimate?
In the Ultimate, yeah. I don't know if he's running up, but he was second in Newbury over 2.5 mile the other day. He ran okay behind John on that in the Ascot. Now, it'd be 3 fairly quick runs. But I think if he did happen to run and stepping up and trip would help him at I think he's 25 to 1 or something. But of the 2 horses of JP's, I'd probably pick Iroko.
I would as well. I think
he'd be able to beat. I think he's £5 better than Jaguar, but I might be wrong.
We'll find out on Tuesday. Barry, any other business? Fred Winter, National Hunt Chase?
No, the Ultimate as well. I'll give him another few layers to it. I thought Blaze the Way was impressive here in December for Mags Mullins. Thought would have a chance. Obviously up £8 for that, but it was only out of novice company into a handicap. Had a run in Leopardstown since in heavy ground, would have struggled with that. And the other leg was Handstands, and I think he could be a national contender as well. Grade 1 winner as a novice the previous season. He was just behind Protect the Rat in the Fleur de Lis in Windsor last time when he's expected to improve for that run. So he's a smart horse.
Well, that is the picks at some of the handicaps. We're going to keep the pace up. Give us our best bets for day 1. Leona, I'm going to start with you.
I am going to nap Sober Glory.
Sober Glory, 14 to 1 shot. That's what we like. Supreme. Barry.
Got back to board in the Arkle.
Very strong for the Arkle, Ross.
Cargeezy Golden Ace.
Boom.
Each way double.
The Mares. Boo. We like it. And AP.
El Kairos.
El Kairos and the Supreme. We like it. That wraps up day 1. Let's move on to Wednesday.
It's Cheltenham. 4 days of unrivaled racing. And William Hill are giving you 2 epic boosts every day. We're starting with our epic day 1 offer. Any favourite to win on Tuesday? Evens. Epic boosts available each day from 8 a.m, in shop and on app. This is the Cheltenham Festival with William Hill.
Now we kick on to Wednesday. Before we do that, make sure you check out William Hill's Epic Boosts. There are 2 of them each day of the Cheltenham Festival from 8 a.m. to 1:30 each day. As we'll start with the turners. Again, it's contingent on what turns up here. DK, what's the market like?
Yeah, it's really interesting because Talk the Talk is likely to go for the Supreme 3 to 1. No Drama This End is the interesting one at 4 to 1. We laid fancy prices about No Drama This End as big as 25 to 1 after or just before his impressive winning hurdles debut. And I think one that I've got to pick out here is Sober at 10 to 1. Last 48 hours. Suggests that 10 to 1 is going to be really popular. Was as big as 16 to 1. Really interesting cash for Willie Mullins' charge. Sober, a real market mover in the last day or so into 10 to 1. And at a big price, Laureate d'Estraval was one that might have looked interesting, but he's likely to go down a different avenue now. So it's Sober who's the really interesting one, Jane, at 10 to 1.
You know what happened? He was 16 to 1, and then Barry Geraghty tipped him. And then David Casey came on the William Hill podcast with Barry yesterday and also tipped him. And now he's 10 to 1. Barry, the floor is yours.
It's simple. We're sober for the week. I doubt it, though. He's a winner of the Queen Alexandra, so highly rated flat horse, stays really well there, 2 miles 6. Put in an average performance to win first time over hurdles in Killarney back in August, but then turn around on soft ground. When I didn't fancy him in the Moscow Fair, I'm putting in a really good performance. Jump much better. I think jumping will improve again. Is guaranteed to stay. Has books of experience. I just think Sober Glory was way overpriced at 16s and is still good value at 10s when there's a question mark over, say, Talk to Talk going here. Doesn't have the depth of the Supreme, so I think he's a solid each-way player, Ross.
That's it. He's coming around.
This is going to cut up a bit because Mighty Park's not in it anymore. Talk to Talk will go to the Supreme, and there's different horses going to be split up. What way do you think it's going to take shape?
Well, it's always been a funny race to turners because you'll have certain years where future 3 mile chasers win it, and then the champion hurdle favourite won it last year. So sometimes I think you have to see a horse when you think, oh, you want a speed horse, and then the next year you think, oh, you want a horse chock full of stamina. The only thing that stands out an absolute mile is that the last 16 winners of this were all bumper winners. So I think, and if you've got genuine graded experience, but you've also shown that you've got the speed win a bumper, because this is one of those intermediate trips, isn't it, between the Supreme and the Albert Bartlett. The Albert Bartlett is a brutal test. The Supreme is, again, you want your fast El Kairos type of horses. This is somewhere in between, but you still need a change of gear. And I think the key race for me in that regard was when I'll Sort That beat Sortudo. I thought that was a really interesting run. I'll Sort That just keeps winning and winning and winning. Again, I think change the trainer, knock a few points off the price. But Sortudo was given a lot to do, turn into the home straight, went past one horse, went past another horse, went past another horse, got to the heels of I'll Sort That, and I'll Sort That just pulled out a little bit more. But come to Cheltenham, if he does that up the hill, I think Sortudo will be really interesting. They were toying with the Albert Bartlett. So he's kind of got those things. He's won a bumper. He would probably say 3 miles in time, but this is the perfect intermediate trip. So those two stand out a mile. The big stat against Sober is X-flat horses on 0 from 31 in the Turners. However, you always need to put an asterisk next to every stat and say, except Willie Mullins, because he just breaks stats for fun. So, yeah.
It's a Royal Ascot winner.
Where did Isterbeck win his bumper?
Where did he win?
Win his bumper.
Why you two are testing me
With
with all
John
sorts
Gosden, I believe. No, John Gosden, was it?
That was an Ebor he won.
Last 16.
Okay, right. So you left out one, the main one.
What are you asking? I'm sorry, what are you asking me about?
Isterbeck won this race.
Right.
Yeah.
When was that?
1997.
Oh, yeah.
What year was that again?
96, yeah.
He was John Gosden, wasn't he?
He was John Gosden.
You're probably still at school,
You're
Brian.
eliminating
Last 20 years I'm going.
strongest stat.
I'm going last 20 years. Did I not say last 20 years? Last 20 years, not
You're
from
too
30 to
young.
1. No, I am too young. I'm a fresh-faced...
I can't wait till we're back here next year in sobers after bolting up in the Turners, and we're going to remind you so much.
yeah. But this... Well, yeah. And, yeah, look. Remind me again, what year is the Brett one?
1997.
1997. I was...
But like
Jumpers for
probably the
goalposts.
greatest
I was still jumpers for goalposts
champion
then.
hurdler of
13 I was,
our
unfortunately. So,
time.
Okay, we'll forgive you.
yeah. This last 20 years we're going, yeah.
Have you given us a selection?
He beat
I've given you two
Darragh and
selections.
Mighty Moss.
Sartudo and
Sortudo and I'll Sort That. They're my two selections before...
and I'll
Before
sort that
Barry
will
joined in,
definitely
knocking the
come here,
stats.
according to his trainer, rider Declan Queally. Leonna, what do you make of all that?
I've got no idea about that. As we've said, there's a lot of horses in here that we don't actually know where they're going to go, so it does make it really difficult, I think, at the moment to proper nail your colours to one. But I do like No Drama this end. He's a horse who I've kept following, and Ross and his Cheltenham form. We have it with No Drama this end. I think he's very versatile ground-wise. I think there are a lot of solids.
Is he the best novice in Britain?
I'm not sure, but it's kind of weighing up positives and negatives for them. And every time I've seen him, I've been taken with him. I think he's a lovely big horse. I think he's got a nice future. And I was quite worried that Paul was firing him in run after run after run. So I was very pleased to see that he's had a bit of a freshen up. He's had a couple of months to get ready for this. That's a real positive. I mean, talk the talk. We talked about whether he was unlucky, how he ran, but we don't even know where he's going to go. So at this point, I can't. Yeah, so at this point, it's then very hard to tip him anyway. And once he's out, what price is No Drama this end?
Don't know, but you're talking about a King Rasco Grey, like whatever Townend gets jocked up on is going to be a big contingent here, AP, because
And therein lies the problem. You're on about which,
nobody knows
that
what
means
Willie Mullins'
no one even
horses
knows
are.
which one's the best of Willie Mullins's.
Yeah.
So-
What do you think?
What do I think which one he'll ride?
No,
I mean,
what do you think is going to win the race?
Well, I like No Dramas this end. I think he's got a bit of pace. I think he stays well. Thought he got a very confident ride in the Challow last time. He only won a length and a half, but he won fairly snug. Paul Nichols I know he doesn't have the strength and depth that he used to have, but he still knows how to train a good horse. And I think No Dramas this end is a very solid horse. I think he's, as Leon said, he's not ground dependable. He's won in soft. He won in good last time at Newbury. The form of the Challow, the horse that was fourth of Tom Lacey's won a good novice hurl in Kelso the other day. A valuable novice hurl there. I think it's good solid form. And as I said, the thing that you have with the Willie Mullins horses, Paul might ride King Rascal Grey, he might not. He might ride Sober, he might ride Leader Dahlia, he might ride Sortudo,
Is it fair to say if there's one champion in the race, it's No Drama this end?
Yeah, he might be I think he's the one. As I said, it's hard to even know which one of Willie Mullins is the best, never mind.
I'd say if Willie was on the panel, he wouldn't know either.
No, I don't.
He wouldn't tell you, no.
Yeah. He wouldn't know. I don't mean to speed, but I don't think he could know. I think as I said, you Paul Townend, well, hopefully he's going to know, but it doesn't mean to say, well, I think, look, I like No Dramas, as I said. I think he's been well campaigned. and he's been minded, and he's been training a good horse, and he's very good at training a good horse.
And he's pretty flawless record this season. So we're going the 2 selections, Sortudo and I'll sort that. Sober, of course, I should have known that. Leonna?
No drama this end.
No drama. Brown advisory, DK. We're on to the slow novice chasers. There's a lot of them in Ireland.
Final Demand tops the betting here at 7-2. Romeo Coolio is 9-2. The Big Westerner 5-1. Wendigo is 5-1. Kay Doughty is in the betting at 6s. 8-1 Western Fold along with Cocktail Divan, and it's 11-1 and bigger the remainder. I guess the race revolves around Final Demand, who was shaping up to be one of the worst results for William Hill at the entire Cheltenham Festival, but he flopped at the Dublin Racing Festival, and punters have rather predictably deserted him subsequently. That's why he's as big as 7-2. He was as short as even money, and following that defeat, Wendigo's been the popular one, looks rock solid in the race, is available at 5-1. We have laid him as big as 33-1. Won an egg and spoon race at Ayr last time out, but he's got that solid profile, Wendigo. He's in the betting at 5-1. He's been popular. It looks a race similar to the Supreme, where we're just happy to lay the field and see how the cards fall, really, Jane. But yeah, Final Demand has been as short as even money, as big as 6-1 when the market opened, has now settled in the middle at 7-2 following that disappointment at DRF.
I think there's a lot of avenues we can explore here, a lot of angles. Ross, surely, I know we went back to 97 there with Istabrack, but can you recall a novice chaser coming in after such a disappointing effort like Final Demand to win a race like this? Gaelic Warrior in the Arkle. Boom.
Yeah, probably. I feel like you've both looked at my book and gone, what hasn't he written down?
What do you want to tell us about the Brown Advisory?
It's a strange race this year in the sense that punters are, and racing fans can be quite fickle, can't they? They see a horse do one thing incredibly well and go, this is the second coming, this will win a Gold Cup, and then you get beat and they go, oh, I'm not touching that with the barge pole, he can't jump, he skewed his fences, he doesn't even stay the trip. So people can swing wildly from one extreme to another. But this is going to be more of a test this year, because obviously they're going an extra furlong this year, they jump an extra fence this year, it's going to be a bit more of a staying test. I think it could end up being a bit more like the Brown advisories of, I'm going to go back to when your war of attritions, of your Boston's Angels, of those is when I was legally allowed to watch horse racing and bet on it.
Well, war of attrition didn't run it, so we can knock him out.
Yeah.
So he ran in the Arkle. Sorry, but Boston's Angel did win, by the way.
Is it you?
Sorry to be a smart arse, but yeah.
Fifth in the Arkle.
Of course, he won the Turners, didn't he? War of attrition, yeah.
We're going to come back after the interval.
He got beaten in the Supreme Novices, and he ran in the Arkle, Ross. Okay, sorry.
Brave Inca beat him in the Supreme.
Is that sweat I see on your forehead?
But you're right, Boston's Angel did win and stayed on. Yeah. You're 100% right, so sorry, carry on, Ross.
Puppy power.
What did war of attrition? Okay, right, okay. Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
This year, I like this year. What will win the Brown Advisory this year?
Oscar's brother.
I like that, because I like him.
Yeah. Oh, right, it's okay. So
Two horses in training, beat Cocktail Divan at Punchestown. Barry, what's not to like?
Oh, no, definitely. I suppose has to prove it at that level. I know Cocktail Divan beat him, but I think the ground played a part in that as well. It was very soft. I think Cocktail Divan is better on better ground. That's not meaning to take from Oscar's brother. I do think he has a good chance. The one I like is Western Fold. Won the Gala Plate, has improved no end since last summer. Beat Noel Mead's horse that won the Savills Chase in Leopardstown. Affordale Fury. He was third then by Allen, only beaten a couple of lengths in Downroyal. Was second to Kate Doughty on really soft ground, heavy ground in Leopardstown the last day when needing the run. Expecting to prove a lot from that. I think very solid. Western Fold. Final Demand, I'm a massive fan of Final Demand last season. Really impressive in Navan. But for me, the writing was on the wall for the poor run at the Dublin Racing Festival with the style of his winning Limerick at Christmas. He wasn't impressive that day. For the want of a phrase, he fell in Limerick, which I didn't expect. I expected him to bolt up. So it didn't shock me to see him blow out at the Dublin Racing Festival. So I think he has a good bit to come back from where he was. But I think Western Fold will be solid, better ground, improving expected, and as I said, tons of experience.
And will like the drying ground. Did you want to say something there, Rob?
I was just weapons amnesty. What I was thinking. The year before Boston's Angel. Very similar names.
Similar colours, yeah.
Similar colours. Same owners.
More of a Tristan weapons amnesty, the same colours. You're right, Ross.
Look, I've talked about this Cheltenham for so many weeks that I'm lucky if I even know what day it is right now.
We're going to start a series, guys. It's going to be called Reeling in the Years, and he's going to host the show. Leonna, what do you think of the Brown Advisory?
I think there's a fair few of them that are ground dependent, and we talk about we're happy to give. If we're happy to give as the public final demander pass on one bad one, then if Kitzbühel goes in there, surely we could forgive him one bad one as well.
Does he not jump erratically out to his?
Well, he definitely did at Sandown, especially. They also went down in trip, so they went quicker. So I just don't think it panned out. A lot of horses don't like Sandown. Yes, the jumping has little chinks. I'll agree with that for sure. But I definitely think, like, based on how he went round Kempton, I know it's right-handed, but I was impressed with the way he went about his business. And I just thought, again, when you're looking down at plenty of the runners and you're picking certain ones, final demands I couldn't have after last time. I think Kay Dorothy wants plenty of juice in the ground. There was plenty that I could start. Henry de Bromhead, it's just Yard have been in such bad form. Every horse they've ran has ran under par what they should be, so then I'm worried about his runners. Oscar's brother, you mentioned before the show started, you liked, and then we're on to Kitzbühel at 14, 16s, that again, if he was 8s, I'd be happy to back him.
Yeah, okay, interesting, and he's obviously after putting in a fabulous display at Christmas. AP?
I agree a lot with Leonna says. I mean, Henry de Bromhead's horse have been in and out, but how often did it come here and run a lot better? And I actually, the Big Western, everyone says she wants softer ground, but our best run was in the Albert Bartlett on good to soft ground last year. Cocktail Divan, it would be interesting if it ran here rather than in a handicap.
I think that's the plan, because I was asking Darragh O'Keefe who would he choose, and he said if the ground dried out, he'd go with the gelding.
Yeah, and as I said, everyone said that Big Westerner wants softer ground, but her best run was here on good to soft. So I think Gordon Elliott I have this little suspicion that Romeo Coolio could end up here. I don't know why, it's just if it was drying out. I think it could be more his bag than the Arkle. I know that a lot of people think going further with younger horses that might be Gold Cup horse in the future might be better off in the Arkle. But and as Barry said, Western Foal is a very solid horse and won a Galway plate with plenty of weight and has ran at a very high level, very consistent horse in the 8-1. I don't think there'll be 3 horses beat him. But
Okay.
I would be interested if Romeo Coolio ran. You know, I think I'd like one of Gordon Elliott's if they ran.
Cool.
And if Western Fall was the one, I'd be happy to have him.
And he's
each way.
an each way price as well.
I think he's very, very solid horse. Don't think there'll be 3 horses beat him, 2 horses beat him.
For a novice, he has more than 10 runs over fences. He's very experienced. So Ross, you're Oscar's brother each way.
Yep.
Barry's Western Fold.
Each way.
Kitzbühel.
Kitzbühel and
one
whichever one
Gordon's,
Jack
yeah.
Kennedy rides
Yeah.
for Gordon Elliott for AP in the Brown Advisory. They're the novices. We're moving on to the feature race. 5 to 6 DK. Is this a procession or is there anything to make it interesting?
Yeah, we're not sure as a trading team. Madgeborough does head the betting at 5 to 6, and it is obviously a shame that Marine National's not here to defend his title. But 5 to 6 might look a little bit skinny. Obviously, if you're looking for the boost at 6 to 4 on the Slido, you'll be happy with 6 to 4. But yeah, 5 to 6 Madgeborough. Loda Sood is in the betting at 4 to 1. Ilete Tomp in the market at 9 to 2. John Bon and Calixios both in the betting at 8 to 1, 16 to 1, and bigger the remainder. We think he's a little bit short, Madgeborough, at 5 to 6. Doubts about his jumping. He was as big as 10 to 1 after he disappointed at Christmas, remember. He's 5 to 6 now, and it doesn't look a strong renewal. He's a horse that does have jumping issues, might want heavy ground as well. He's not likely to get that at Cheltenham. So at odds on, it's basically a case of come and get it at 5 to 6, Jane.
Come and get him, AP. Will John Bon run?
I don't think so. His owner was giving him carrots on Monday and was saying that he likes him too much to be running him against John Bon or running John Bon against Margeborough or if Factify runs in the Ryanair. So I think he'll
John
look,
Bon's
as long as
gonna
the
be-
two of them get here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's left in both races. Just God forbid if something happened to the other two. But his owner has a bit of a love thing with John Bon. He knows that Margeborough is Margeborough's a very good horse, and I know he got beaten in the Arkle last year. I think if he goes very, very fast on him, he'll win.
How good is he?
I think he's very good. I think he's got such a high cruising speed. You know, you look at Solness, who's a good horse around Leopardstown. I mean, he looked like a point-to-pointer run against him the last day. I just think as he jumps out and goes fast, he'll get everything out of the comfort zone. And I think if he did that in the Arkle last year, he could have made all the mistakes he wanted and he'd still have won. You know.
Yeah.
So I think just go flat out on him and he'll get everything off it.
Go flat out with him.
Go flat out.
Leonna.
Go
That
as
sounds
fast as he can.
exciting, doesn't it? Go
Just go
flat out.
fast as he can.
He was impressive, wasn't he? Those cheek pieces, just really, I think you watch horses, some cheek pieces, some visors, some blinkers, they do something, they don't do something. He just looked like a completely different horse. We've always seen plenty of talent from him. Obviously, ran so well at Cheltenham last year on drier ground, so don't be giving us the grounds, won't suit him. And he was just a different horse. He didn't jump out to his left, he didn't make any jumping errors, he was foot perfect. So to then think you've probably got a horse that's actually much better than what we've even seen if the cheek pieces have the same effect, that's your downside, that if they didn't. But I don't think he's a quirky horse, I just think he's made odd jumping errors, and I think they're smoothed out. I mean, he'd probably be my nap at the moment. I really do think he's going to win. I was really taken with him.
I think he's an absolute machine. I think Mark Walsh said,
Did he?
F you, let's go. Barry, you had such a good record with these 2 mile chasers. Is there anything to get near him?
I don't think so. Marine Nationale was the only angle I could make against them on better ground, but he needed better ground to do that, and obviously he isn't here. But no, Ludus Sodi, like he beat John Bon here in November, but John Bon having his first run of the season, he was vulnerable. He's only a couple of lengths ahead of Matata, so I don't think we saw John Bon at his best. So Ludus Sod wouldn't necessarily be the biggest danger. Like Irish Panther, could you make a case for him stepping up from novice company to this?
Ask, isn't it?
It's a big ask. He jumps well, he travels well. I don't know, to me it's all about Majbra, and the weaker the opposition, I think the less his jumping will be tested. So although DK thinks he's skinny enough at that, I'd rather be on Majbra here at 6-5 or the boosted price, which was
6-4.
6-4.
Yeah, nice try.
Then compare Old Park Star at 7-4. I'd rather be getting stuck into Majbra.
Any opinion, Ross?
Well, I'm just going to test it. So, come on. I don't need the stats. What's the odds-on favourites?
Lots of them could be El Fabio, but John Marshall doesn't know his odds-on favourite.
Yeah, but we always say this before the race, don't we? And then they get beat.
But he's not El Fabiolo. El Fabiolo is a nutcase.
Look, if these people haven't come here for all of us to tip a 5 to 6 shot.
But there's
we want
27
some value
other
here.
races.
3 from 12 odds-on shots in the past 20 years, and 2 mile chasers. It's bingo, isn't it? It's past the parcel. They have their day. They have an incredible day. They look fantastic. They go to a different track on a different day. It starts again. The whole race resets. Now, Marine Nationale obviously would have given him a big shout because Leopardstown is his springboard to Cheltenham. So it has opened the race to a certain extent. But look, Majbra might be 1 to 3 in running as they get to the bottom of the hill. But you're going to have to hold your breath like last year. And the value, the each-way disgraceful thievery, as Kelner.
There's no each way in this. Is there even going to be 8 runners?
But you can go back it now. Each way now.
Okay, come on, tell us.
Solness. Now, he came into this race last year, he'd had 483 runs in 1 year. He was exhausted. He ran every...
Did you see him in Leopardstown last day?
Yeah, no, in fairness, that wasn't heavy ground. So if you could forgive his run here last year, I would definitely make a case for him. He's probably the biggest threat to the favourite if you were confident he can produce it on the track stop.
He's been campaigning for this race this year. Last year, they didn't know how good he was, and he got to the Champion Chase. You watch that replay again, he's closing again at the line. He gets beaten half length into 4th. He's wide around the whole track. He doesn't jump particularly well. He's had a really hard season last year. This year, he beats Marine Nationale and Majbra first time out. He comes back last time out on heavy ground, bounces, clearly feels that race at his legs, and they're going to go home and they're going to reset, and they're going to come back with a fresh horse. And he's done it before. He got beat 25 lengths at Sandown in a Grade 1 last year, and then won at Leopardstown on his next start. He got beat 36 lengths at Galway, then won at Listowel on his next start. Special Tiara got beaten out of sight, then won this. Politolog got beaten out of sight, then won this.
Okay,
You have
so
talked myself
Solness
into a
is
bigger
what you're
bet.
saying.
Solness, yeah. I don't know if you know fancy Solness.
I like it. Take Ross against the world. Boom.
There you go.
Majbur win Champion Chase. Okay, let's just give a quick reference to the cross country, the Grand Annual, the Champion Bumper, and now known as the Bet MGM Cup, formerly known as Coral Cup. Barry, any opinion?
I like Stumptown. Sorry to be dull, but good winner last year. Albar fell in the Pardubice and got back up and still won. I think these fences bring out the best in them. So no, I would like Stumptown in the cross country, and a horse maybe AP might be able to guide us on where he's going. I think you'd have fancy from as well. It would put your hands together, go in the car or in the BetMGM.
I don't know, but like you're right. He's a very good horse. He won the. I mean, he's a lot higher. He's probably a stone higher than when he won the Fred Winter last year, but he did win an Irish Cesarewitch afterwards, so he's definitely a horse that will stay. And Joseph O'Brien is brilliant at prepping him, so if he ran in that, he would definitely have a chance if he runs. I actually like a 4-year-old of Willie's in the bumper.
Quirin?
Quirin, yeah.
Yeah.
It was very impressive when he won in this. I know that his other horse won in this too, the favourite, Love Sandanu. I know probably Q-Card probably was the last 4-year-old, was he, that won?
But this fella's actually flatbred, and the reason he never ran on the flat because he wouldn't load into the stalls.
Yeah, so he's lots of experience.
Yeah, he's
been
not your
around.
typical.
Yeah. I was very impressed with him in this Quirin.
In the bumper. Any other business for you in
The opposite to Barry, which is why I didn't like Stumptown for that. I liked Favoy de Chanteau. I was here when he won. And, in his last 5 or 6 runs, he's been double figure prices when he's ran badly, and when he's been well backed, he's won.
There we
Just
go.
saying.
Michael O'Leary, he loves a good punch, that Michael.
He's become reliable.
Jack Kennedy in the cross country, looks like he'll have top weight. Ross?
Storm Heart in the Cup. Sent off favourite.
Could be a good day for Ryanair.
Say that again?
Could be a good day for Ryanair.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it could be a good day for the Triumph from a couple of years ago because Majborough, Cargigi, Storm Heart, all in that. Storm Heart was sent off favourite, has had an issue since. But those last 2 wins, I mean, watch the way that horse finishes those races. Eats up the ground off a slow pace the first time and grinds it out and beats Work Ahead and Farron's Glory last time out in a really strong time. He looks to me a graded horse in a handicap, and we've seen Willie do that, twice a year pretty much for the last 5 years. So, I think Storm Heart looks really, really interesting.
He's with somebody else, he'd probably be running in the Champion Hurdle. Best bet on day 2?
I quite fancy Solness.
Solness in the Champion Chase.
Sober
in the Turners.
Majborough
to win the Champion Chase.
No dramas this end.
No drama this end. Britain's best novice. That is concluding day 2.
It's Cheltenham, where racing's elite gather for 4 days of drama, thrills, and hills. And every day of the festival, William Hill are giving you 2 epic boosts, available each day from 8 a.m. in shop and on app. This is the Cheltenham Festival with William Hill.
Okay, let's kick on into day 3, and of course we're going to start with a lot of mares races. We're going to run through the market with you first, DK.
Yeah, it looks like we're not a real bookmaker here, doesn't it, when you see these prices? But this is the vagaries of non-runner money back, isn't it? Non-runner money back, because you've got 3 horses at the top of the betting, and only one of them is guaranteed to run in this race, and that's Wadu. And following the news that Lossiemouth is likely to run in the Champion Hurdle, or anyway, the market suggests she's going to run in the Champion Hurdle. Wadu's the one to beat in this race, and she's 4-6. Lossiemouth in there at 4-5. Brighter Days Ahead 6-4. Jade de Grugy is 3-1. Golden Ace and Feet of a Dancer both 6-1, 8-1, and bigger the rest. It's punters looking for an each way angle here, and given this race is going to cut up considerably, Feet of a Dancer is the one they've come for in the last couple of days or so. Was as big as 14-1 into 6-1. But as far as betting interest in this particular contest is concerned, Wadu is going to take all the world of beating, assuming Lossiemouth and Brighter Days Ahead go elsewhere, and she's in the betting at 4-6.
Only beaten once over hurdles, AP. She's probably been one of those mares that's never been flashy, but she wins.
Yeah, she wins. She's been really well placed. Won the Martin Pipe last year. she's just very solid. You know, you actually watched her in Leopardstown last time. She actually looked like she was in a little bit of trouble for a little bit, but you say she keeps winning. She looks very solid. Only just, you said, beat by Lossiemouth in the entry. That's her one defeat, so hard to go against her.
Woodoo, is she as rock solid as the market tells us?
I think so, yeah, because with what we know possibly of the next two, I struggled even with big each way horses. Quite a lot of them are already finished behind Woodoo a long way, like Nurse Susan, but I know Gordon as well. He's been on quite a few podcasts, hasn't he? And I think she's his nap of the festival. I mean, he's been saying everywhere, hasn't he, that she won't get beat. So, I mean, I feel like that's good enough for me. Yeah,
it's hard to disagree with that. Barry, there's quite a contingent of horses here that might not turn up. Lossiemouth mightn't go there, Brighter Days Ahead. Geraghty might reroute here, but she's been chasing.
Yeah, it's never ideal, but she is a smart filly on her day. But just to go back to Woodoo, like she was beaten by Lossiemouth at Aintree. She was only 5, so you could expect her to improve again for the year. Like, to me, it only strengthens her case. Feed of a Dancer, I thought was good in Doncaster, has stepped up on what she done last year. To me, she would be the each way alternative.
For Paul Nolan, interesting filly. Ross?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it, at the moment? I mean, Take No Chances is, I think that's how you would describe the betting at the moment rather than her having a chance. I mean, it's chaos. It's not going to look like anything like that on the day. Geraghty, of course, was second in this last year and ran a bit of a blinder. She's fairly unexposed in the grand scheme of things, and they might fancy coming here instead of taking in the Mayor's Chase. Probably an easier option to give Woodoo a race. I don't think Take No Chances will run on into a place again. She was ridden to get a place last year. She'll be ridden to get a place again this year. But you'll get a much bigger price on the day. Look, Woodoo won the Mountain Pipe. You get proper bomb-proof Grade 1, strong staying horses. You gallop into Champs, your Banbridges win that, and she gets up the hill really, really well. She's only been beaten once, as you said, and it's really hard to see her getting beat. I know we want to see Lossiemouth in the Champion Hurdle, but there's also a world where no mares run in the Champion Hurdle, and you get Brighter Days Ahead, Lossiemouth, Woodoo, and Golden Ace running in this, and that'd be an absolute blinding race on its own. But it's probably going to be a fairly easy task for Woodoo instead.
Okay, interesting. Take No Chances each way, and a consensus across the board for Woodoo in the Mayor's Hurdle. We move on to the Stayers Hurdle. This year, it's a fairly deep race. DK Chupo has been a favourite for a lot of punters, but he's burnt a few along the way too.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing race, this one. Don't forget 2 epic boosts every single day with William Hill at the Cheltenham Festival, and extra places on every single race at the Cheltenham Festival as well. Tihupu does head the betting here at 9-4. Honesty Policy is in the betting at 4-1. Cabral de Matan is 5-1. Woodoo in there at 6s with Bob Ollinger. 7-1 Mashan 2 and 10-1 Ballyburn. 14-1 and Bigger the Rest. There's a few bad results in the anti-post book for William Hill here. Tihupu's an obvious one at 9-4, was 7-1 after the defeat last year, has settled at 9-4 now. Bob Ollinger's one you'd expect to lay with his record at the Cheltenham Festival. He's in the betting at 6-1. He's very popular as well. And we've actually racked up a decent liability on Hewick. Remember him, Hewick, he's 25-1. We've laid him at 66-1 in mid-January, all the way down to 25-1. And since the non-runner money back market went live in early February, the 2 that have attracted support are Ballyburn 10-1 from 12-1, and Mashan 2 as well. The new kid on the block, Mashan 2, is available at 7-1. And Memories of Paisley Park, of course, with Mashan 2, and Mashan 2 is the one that I like in the market. I think 7-1 for Mashan 2 is really, really solid in the Stayers.
The young improver. Now, Leonna, you have a bit of place in William Hill Preview Folklore, having tipped this man at 33-1. Oh no, was it this man on Sarah de Burley? It was Mark.
It wasn't.
Sorry. You rode him in it. Best ride you ever gave a horse in the Pertemps.
See, I'm going to let you off with getting that stat wrong. But
I tipped him when he won the Pertemps. Did you win the Pertemps on him?
Twice, I think.
Just to be out there.
And he was nearly as old as you at the time when he won it.
And then the horse went on to win a Grade 1, the Stayers Hurdle, and we now realise how well handicapped he was. So tell us, can you give us a big each way or a big player outside of the obvious?
I don't have a 33-1 shot, unfortunately, this year, but we talked a lot about Mashan too. I've been really taken with him. I mean, when you look at ratings for horses, you think he's got £20 to find with some of those older legs. I know that, but they are just that, they're older legs, and there's going to come a time where you know, your Teapoos are just going to have gone to the well one too many times, and they're not quite the horses that they were. Bob Ollinger, I know they have been running well, winning, etc. in recent starts, but I think for me, Mashantu is the horse who I've been really taken with. I mean, he properly battered Impost Trois last time. I was here, I watched it. They were really taken with him, and I think he's an exciting young horse as much as, you know, this. I mean, Honesty Policy, 6-year-old. I mean, Teapoo's a lot older now, as is Bob, but I definitely think he's the horse to kind of take out the race at the prices, because I couldn't pick between those top couple. I think they'll run their race, but I don't think any of them are going to take that big step forward that this chap should.
Okay, well, he digs in. AP, there's Old Legs, there's Young Guns. Which would you prefer?
I'd probably just go for Honesty Policy. I think there's probably not going to be much between Teapoo and Bob Ollinger again. I just have that thing about Teapoo's been here 3 times, he only won the once, and I'd have a slight concern about it drying out before the World Hurdle. Cabral de Matan is a very good horse, but I think he's too good a traveller to really stay. I might be wrong, but you very rarely see horses being as strong going through a stairs hurdle as what he is. Mashantu did beat Impost Trois well last time in Cheltenham. He was getting £6 from him. Impost Trois wouldn't run out your way on soft ground, to be honest. So he might have got flattered by that. I thought the Honesty Policy ran well in Ascot. I think he's improved since then, so I think he would probably be the one I'd pick.
And the vibe's very positive as well from Gordon Elliott, who of course has Chupo Barry. It's a very pertinent point that AP made earlier. He's been here to win it 3 times. He's won it once.
No, I would agree. And if you looked at that replay from last year, you know, they all stacked up. They were in a bit of a bunch, run down to the last. He got done for pace on better ground. And I rode him work actually a couple of years ago, and the one thing I took from it was that he's not necessarily ground dependent, but he's trip dependent. He's a proper stayer. He needs a test. So I think he will need it soft to make it the test. It'll need to be now. Bob Ollinger beat him last year. Will he hold that from? Hard necessarily to say with age against Bob Ollinger. The 2 youngsters, Honesty Policy and Cabral de Matan, they both have to step up on what they've done, and age is also against them in that this trip at that age they could be vulnerable. Ballyburn was all the rage 2 years ago. He didn't work out over fences last season. He got beaten a whisker by Teahupoo in the Hatton's Grace in November and got a lot of traffic trouble through the race. He ran keen. Everything went wrong for him. He didn't turn up then at Christmas when he was 3rd behind Teahupoo, beaten 13 lengths. But if he'd gone straight from the Hatton's Grace to the Stairs Hurdle, he'd be a shorter price here. I think 10-1 Ballyburn is, to me, the class act in the race. I think he's great value, and I'm very sweet in Ballyburn.
And he's going to be Willie's only runner, probably.
It looks like that, yeah.
Yeah, Town will be... I don't know how you ride that horse, but whatever he'll be doing...
Sit him in behind the pace. Switch him off is the main thing, but with the pace they're going to have to go. Teahupoo's going to need a gallop, so it's going to be competitive, the gallop they go, so he will find a slot from switch him off. He screams class to me.
Okay, Ballyburn, interesting outside selection, Ross?
Yeah, I mean, again, this race often gets a bit of a bad rap, but I think every year it's an absolute cracking race to watch. We just saw that finish was incredible. I agree Teapoo's too short. Again, his record on soft and heavy is phenomenal. His record on anything faster is pretty average. Again, he keeps getting beaten by older horses as well. Cider Burley and Dashel Drasher beat him, and Bob Ollinger beats him. If anything, Bob Ollinger getting older means he's more likely to beat him based on that. Bob's 4 from 4 at the track. He's going to have a cracking chance. But the one who looks, again, in terms of punters going crazy for the horse and then going off him, is Impost Trois. Now, again, he went through the grades last year. He went from handicaps, and then he won a grade 2, and then he won a grade 1. And then again, everyone said, there's your Stayers Hurdle winner. And then he came back in January. He gave weight to Marchantou in bad ground. He was held up out the back. He ran on in to finish second. Although put hhim spot on for this, and everyone said, oh, you can't win a Stayers Hurdle after that. I thought it was a perfectly reasonable prep run, and he's gone from being 3-1, 7-2 before that to now being a 14-1 shot. So he's gonna. Did that just change, or am I going insane? Did you hear that? All right, yeah, I am. That's why it's just echoing in my own brain.
It's all the bangs to the head you're after getting up here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Arbitration, was it?
Yeah, it is up here, yeah.
In summary,
Impost Trois is a daft price. Yeah, it's just a daft price.
Ballyburn.
Mashantu.
Mashantu. Honesty Policy?
Probably Honesty Policy, yeah.
And that is the Stayers Hurdle, DK. We move on to the other feature race. That is the Ryanair Chase. So much to talk about here. We might only be talking about one horse. DK, the markets are telling us a story.
Yeah, it could be the shortest price favourite all week, this one. Factor File, if he does go to the Ryanair Chase, is 4-7. Gaelic Warrior has been well backed, non-runner money back, obviously. 3-1 into even money, but he's likely to line up in the Gold Cup. Django Bai is in the betting at 7-2. Ilete Tom is 5-1 along with John Bon. Banbridge 5-1, Hartwood and Romeo Coolio both 6-1. Imperia Pass is the one that's been very well backed since that win in the Red Mills Chase at Gowran the other week. He's 7-1. From 12-1 Imperia Pass. Punters have been trying to find an each-way angle here, given if it looks like one of the big two take their chance in this race. Factor File should be running in the Gold Cup. He's 4-7 though to win this race, Jane.
AP, I'm not going to ask you if he's going to run, but I'm going to ask you, what would you do with him if he was yours?
I'd run him in the Ryanair.
And is that what he is going to do?
I've no idea.
I knew he was going to say that.
You didn't want to ask why.
I've no idea, but he's going to be 4-7. Looks a pretty good price, I think, in the Ryanair, because if you look down through the field, you're actually wondering what's going to run against him. I mean, obviously, the likes of Hartwood and that were behind him last year, maybe Imperia Pass, but the first 3 or 4 in the betting probably
Maybe Banbridge would turn up here, would he?
I don't know if the ground was. I know he was a little bit disappointed in the Gold Cup last year. He might turn up here, but yeah, I think it'd be pretty straightforward for Factor File. And I think, you know, when you've got, I know the way you're thinking, Spillane Tower and I Am Maximus in the Gold Cup, you may as well have a 1-4 shot in the Ryanair.
Do you think if he ran in the Gold Cup, he'd be favourite?
Yeah, I think after what he did the last day, he'd be favourite. Yeah. Do I think he'd win? I'm not sure. I actually had a little doubt about him when he won the Brown Advisory staying, but Alice Plunkett told me that he ran up into the fence at the back, so then I thought, well, he obviously does stay.
Yeah.
Now, I do think the circumstances, I think he was so impressive in Leopardstown last time, because I think it was the first time he was ridden forward like a horse that had no question of staying. And for whatever reason, you know, it was his most impressive. I think other times he ran in Leopardstown last year, a couple of times he was dropped in, he was keen, didn't really finish. It's only what you see visually, isn't it? But he looked like he'd stay in Leopardstown, but it won't matter. I'd imagine he'll run the Ryanair, but I don't know.
He looked better than ever last time. Leonna, is this a penalty kick, bar fall?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I really like him. He's just one of those horses who proper takes the eye, doesn't he? I mean, it was really exciting watching that back when you know what's going to happen. So I do think he's very hard to take on. He's the shortest price of the week at the moment for a reason, so I'm not against him. But as DK mentioned, Imperia Pass is a horse who I wouldn't be surprised to see him show up well. I don't think he'll beat Factor File, but if you don't want to back Factor File, those very skinny odds, and if something did happen, Imperia Pass's actual general record, if you look back through all of his runs over 2-4, 2-5, is pretty hard to knock. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him show up better than his 7-1 suggests, but I don't think he can beat.
The big problem will be, Jane, is there only going to be 5-6 runners max?
There is a scare factor with Factor File.
Race.
There is a scare factor. We're going to end up with around 14-16 in the Gold Cup, and we could end up with 6 in the Ryanair. Barry, we've said it all about Factor File. You've been captain of his fan club since he was a novice. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the Ryanair?
Well, obviously, only that he will win. Banbridge, though, to me, second in the King George. I think Banbridge goes here, could be the one to chase him home. And if you're talking about each way value, get on him now. William Hill are non-runner money back, so you get your money back if he does go for the Gold Cup. So I'd take my chance with him here as an each way play.
5-1. Joseph O'Brien, target trainer. Ross?
Yeah, I think Factor File should go here. I think he will win if he does. But again, the best place to start with every Cheltenham race is last year's Cheltenham race. And Factor File bolted up, and back in second was a horse called Hartwood, who'd never been to Cheltenham before and ran his absolute heart out, finishing second. Since then, he's improved this season. He bolted up over further last time out. He comes into it off the back of a career best win. And Henry de Bromhead in the Ryanair, he's run 14 horses. He's had 2 winners, 5 places. He's run 6 horses that have gone off single figure odds. They finished second, first, fourth, third, first, and second. He had the second and third last year, double figure odds as well. He is an absolute master of getting a horse right for Cheltenham, and in particular this race. He just knows the right horse. And I think Hartwood last year had a sighter in this to see, is he a Ryanair horse? He proved that he was. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go and beat Factor File this year, but I think he's going to give him much more of a race than he did last year, because I think he'll be smarter, sharper, older, and he's been targeted at this all year.
And he's won around Tremor. There you go. So the Ryanair, pretty simple. We think the Factifile is going to win, and maybe Hartwood will follow him home. Mayor's Novices Hurdle, Jack Richards, which is basically the intermediate distance for novices, the handicap chase, Pertemps and Kim Muir. AP, is there anything there you'd like to mention?
I thought one of Nicky Henderson's a 10-year-old Bold Endeavour might run all right in the Pertemps. He was third in a qualifier in Huntingdon. He was a lot higher. Now he's a 10-year-old, but Nicky did finish first and second in this race last year. I thought the Bold Endeavour could run well in the Pertemps. I know the Skelton's really fancy Supremely West, and he's been well laid out. The Jack Richards, the Novice Chase, just looks very competitive. The likes of Regent Stroll. Paul Nichols obviously won it last year. I think he's a pretty good horse. I don't know what's maybe to see. I was impressed with him in air when he won. Slade Steele won a Supreme Novices back here. Wouldn't be surprised if Henry de Brom had got him back to form, but it's pretty open. And then the Kim Muir, it looks impossible. I know Jerry Cooder-Rapid is his favourite, but I just have a little doubt about him. I know he was second in Pertemps last year, but I'm not sure he's a good enough jumper.
Yeah, I actually was Derek O'Connor was on Nick Luck's podcast this morning, and he's going to ride him. But You Have Me in Stitches and Waterford Whispers are high in the market too. They're dangerous, aren't they? Yeah,
I would nearly rather have Waterford Whispers. I think maybe I'm being harsh on Jerry Cooder-Rapid. I just don't.
I agree with you.
I don't like. There's something that I'm just not sure I'd like to be going to war on him. What's that one?
Montregard.
He might not run, I don't think.
Which horse is that?
Montregard.
Oh yeah.
There's a little.
So we're not.
So
he's top weight as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Jared Cooder-Rapid. I wouldn't like to be. I wouldn't be.
Okay.
I think he's short enough price. I'd rather pick one of the other ones, I think. But I think Bold Endeavour is interesting in the.
For Nicky Henderson in the
10-year-old, but
Nicky's going to win some races, so we have to line them up. Leonna, anything for the Mayor's Novices Hurdle or any other business?
The Pertemps final, I was going to say as well. Obviously, I know I think Harry Skelton had said Supremely West is his nap at the moment of the festival that he thinks will win.
Stop. In the Pertemps?
Yeah.
Lord
For Jimmy 5, I couldn't see it either, but I thought Staffordshire Not in there was perhaps overpriced.
He's going to have to give away a lot of weight.
If it runs, yeah, it's right up at the top. And then the other one, I did like the look if he goes, which AP thinks he might not. Montregard in the Kim Muir, I just thought that visor's proper sharpened him up. He's looked a better horse since the visor went on. So they're the only two, Staffordshire Not and Montregard, but their prices if they go.
Dan Skelton is going to have winners, and
he's going to win handicaps too. Yeah. So that speaks volumes. Okay, Barry. There's a couple of good novice mares. We mentioned Bambino Fever, who's obviously been boosted, but I think Old School Outlaw is going to give her a race.
I do, yeah. No, she's a good mare. Old School Outlaw beat Bambino Fever in Naas early in the season, but Bambino Fever, in fairness to her, a lot of willies were needing the first run at the time. She won well since in a lower grade. I think the better ground will suit Bambino Fever. I think, for my eye anyway, Old School Outlaw, she's a proper filly, but I think she might need a little bit more juice to beat Bambino Fever. On the Kim Muir, I would be with you on Waterford Whispers. I like him. I'd be against Jericho the Rapina. I think he lacks scope. He ran well in the Pertemps, but for me, he was more of a hurdler than a chaser. So yeah, no, I'd be Waterford Whispers.
Perfect. And Ross, there's 4 races there for you to pick from. Any bets?
Happy Henry de Bromhead Day, hopefully.
You're taking that on complete trust, though, because I know his record and you have the stats, but as Leonna has alluded to, even today at Thurles, they're stopping.
Yeah, that is true. But that happened last year. It happens every year. His record in January and February is shocking. I admit. We're getting a little
You'd like to see a winner.
It's worse than usual. There's that.
It is.
We obviously have the basic stat.
Sorry.
I hope that's not me.
That wasn't
We'd have the very basic stat of, let's say, 2 from 40 in the last 2 weeks. I know because I was with Andy Holding, and you do very similar stats that he was literally going into real details with. They're actually running way below the level that they should, i.e. horses that are single figures.
Does he have stuff wrote in his book?
Probably. They're not even finishing off their races. That has to be a concern, surely.
But just on that as well, some are, he does have some horses running well. I'm only just saying, and it often happens with yards are sick or not performing. some horses will perform. So he is having some of those, Heartwood being one mentioned. I know I'll have one for tomorrow, or for Friday, should I say. But I know you would rather see to go back on the ones that aren't performing. I think it's a brave call.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I'm pinning my hopes to is that, I mean, look, the ground in Ireland is still horrific everywhere. I mean, Thurles is, again, I'm with the speed figures, the go-in allowance for Thurles doesn't exist until this year. It's not, it's normally a good ground track. It's heavy all over the shop. Now they all come alive when the ground gets faster, when the sun comes out. So, AP just said earlier on about the weather. You walk in here today, it feels like a completely different world to what it did in January and February. It's going to dry out really, really quickly. The watering at Sandown at the weekend, they might even water here next week. By the time we get to Thursday, it's a different kettle of fish. Now, if on Tuesday and Wednesday his horses haven't got up the hill, I might start tearing up my slips preemptively. But if they don't, if they finish their races and he has a good Thursday, then I'll be at that bar.
You'll be at that bar, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to join him and have a look at his notebook and see what's written in it.
Cocktail Davan in the Jack Richards looks a graded horse in a handicap.
He's not going to run in it.
And Full of Life. Is he going to run with it?
He's going to run in the Brown Advisory.
Is he? Didn't we say earlier he was going to run in? He's 4-1 for Jack Richards, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the worst anti-post results. He's been smashed up in the last 48 hours for that race. 8-1 into 4. For the Jack Richards.
Yeah. And then a horse called Full of Life, who beat Carrickmorna Spruce at Down Royal. That was literally the last time Ireland had a meeting on good ground, and it was about 183 days ago. In my notebook.
You don't need to tell us, we know.
Yeah, exactly. So now this horse, quick enough the front, beat Carrickmorna Spruce in a really quick time, pinged the last, quick and clear, and
what race is she in?
She's in the Mares Novice. So Mares Novice, Cocktail Davan in the Jack Richards, and then Heartwood to run well in the Ryanair. And if all those three win, then I'll buy everyone in here a orange juice. I just realised I've forgotten how many people are in here.
There's a lot of people here. And you'll buy Henry de Bromhead a glass of champagne. Okay, so...
Just to add on that as well, Supremely West has a £2 lower mark now than when Dr. Richard Newland had him. And I know the lads were dismissing him for the pretemps, and Dan Skelton said he's his banker. I'd say get on him now, because I'd say Jimmy Fife is going to absolutely lump on him.
That horse is the single worst anti-post result for William Hill Supremely West in the pretemps. Laid at 25s down to 4-1, 25-1 into.
You're watching Dan
fours.
Skelton week after week, in big handicaps, targeting horses. He is dynamite. So, yeah, if he tells that's his banker for the week, I'd be getting stuck in.
Supremely West in the pretemps, and we need a bit of help in the pretemps. Let's be honest, it's usually a bit of a puzzle. Best bets on day 3, Ross.
Henry de Bromhead each
for the treble.
Way treble. let's get creative. No, but I think Cocktail Davan does genuinely look a great horse in a handicap, and obviously Henry's done that in this race with a future Gold Cup winner.
Plutar. She destroyed his handicap mark that day. Remember that? Barry.
Ballyburn winner
in
each
the
way.
Stairs. Love it.
Mashantu.
Mashantu in the Stairs and AP.
I'm gonna go with Honesty Policy.
Honesty Policy. 3 different opinions in the Stairs. That concludes day 3. We're into Friday.
It's Cheltenham, where racing's elites gather for 4 days of drama, thrills, and hills. And every day of the festival, William Hill are giving you 2 epic boosts, available each day from 8 a.m. in shop and on app. This is the Cheltenham Festival with William Hill.
Day 4, and of course it is Gold Cup day, and it was quite the result last year for a William Hill ambassador when I Know the Way You're Thinking outbattled the old champ up the hill. Of course, Gavin Cromwell, his trainer, was supposed to be with us tonight. Unfortunately, given it's such a busy time for trainers with such a number of horses coming across, he couldn't join us in person. But I did sit down with him for a chat yesterday to get his thoughts on last year and an update on the reigning champion.
Gavin Cromwell, you're an 8-time Cheltenham Festival winning trainer. You've won the Gold Cup. You've won some of the majors. It's an extremely busy time of year for you. How is the team stacking up?
Yeah, for my apologies, it is a busy time of the year, and I'm sorry that I can't be there in person. yeah, just the final bits of work to be done, and it's very busy, as you can imagine. The team are shaping up good. Happy with them. Little bit of sun on their back now as well, which is all a help. I'm sure everybody's appreciating that, and starting to look forward to it now.
We're all looking forward to it. The lawns are starting to get mowed, Gavin. It's a real turn of spring. It would be remiss of me to look forward without quickly referencing last year. It was the day of dreams on that Friday of Cheltenham with I Know the Way You're Thinking. What are we thinking this year?
Listen, I might be the eternal optimist, but I do think it's possible again. Just in the last few weeks, he's really he's starting to spark. Although I am a realist, and it's only 4 weeks ago he was lying at the back of the last in Leopardstown after having a tired fall, and it's a long way from there to winning a Gold Cup. But I think I'm dealing with a different horse at the moment now, so hopefully the next week goes well.
I remember you referencing last year, the Tuesday of Cheltenham. I asked for your best chance of the week, and you said it was the supplemented I Know the Way You're Thinking, and I kind of rolled my eyes in disbelief, thinking that this was just the coronation of Galopin Des Champs III. You were proved right, but how different has this year been for you in terms of his campaign, and how frustrating has it been to watch his performances?
Oh, it's been very tough, Jane. It's we started off. He was beating 50-something lengths in the John Durkin, but I actually thought he ran okay that day, because it was a funny race and they went so fast he was just taking off his feet. But he jumped well and he stayed going well, and listen, I took the positives out of that. But I thought we'd roll on into Christmas and up and trip again. I thought we were going to be competitive, and sure, listen, he barely got to the start. It was a disaster, and it's been a tough time with him since, and certainly not the season I had anticipated with him. But hopefully we're back on track.
So you're seeing the spark. The ground will dry up. The sun is on his back. I know you say you're a realist, but is it fair to say that you're quite confident? I spoke to you a couple of days ago as well. You really believe he's back?
Listen, he's definitely in much better shape, but listen, I have to be a realist as well. Like, it is only a few weeks ago that as I said, he was lying at the back of the last, and at that level, it's a big bridge to gap. So, and I certainly I appreciate that, and I'm just hopeful that we can bridge it. But it is a long way to go from there to win the Gold Cup.
Well, you're a young man, Gavin. It would be the training achievement of any lifetime if you were to get him back to win a Gold Cup after his 3 runs this season. But hopefully, I Know the Way You're Thinking will bounce back.
There are the thoughts of Gavin Cromwell on his reigning champion, I Know the Way You're Thinking, and we will get the thoughts of the panel on all of the Gold Cup contenders momentarily. But we're going to start, DK, with the Triumph Hurdle. I better start by reminding everybody that the William Hill clan have an epic boost, 2 epic boosts each day. A reminder that it will go live from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. each day of the Cheltenham Festival. The Triumph Hurdle, famously won last year by Paneros at a huge price. I can't imagine he was mentioned in too many previews. How many is Willie Mullins going to run this year?
He'll have a few, I think. Proactive is the one at the top of the betting at 100 to 30, and it has been a Willie Mullins benefit throughout the recent history of this race anyway. He's won the last 4 renewals, 5 of the last 6. Narciso Haas obviously was very, very popular. We lay loads at big prices in the autumn and hope these horses aren't any good in the spring, really. And you do attract plenty of cash in a race like the Triumph Hurdle. And since Narciso Haas's defection from the race, Proactive is the one they've wanted, 100 to 30 at the top of the betting. Selma de Veri is the other one, was 14 to 1 when we went non-runner money back in early February, is into 9 to 2. Maestro Conti in there at 6 to 1 with Minella Study at 7 to 1. And in the last few days, another Willie Mullins runner has emerged, Macho Man, 14 to 1 around about 24 hours ago is into 8-1. Macho Man's the real market mover in the race. Monge 2 is available 8-1, 10-1 Winston Jr. and Sham de Faust, and it's 14-1 and Bigger the Rest. But you tend in the Triumph Hurdle to get a real spread of business. And since Narciso Haas went out of the race, Macho Man is the one, 8-1 from 14s.
Well, Ross, last year I was certainly on Lulamba, and I certainly did not see Poneros to come and beat him. What's going to happen this year?
Well, I don't think we're going to get a result where you have to introduce a new rule again. So that's surprising and breaks everyone's hearts. But yeah, it's a really tough race. I mean, they've clearly switched it to Auteuil based on the horses in the betting. I mean, it's all French imports, all one run. We've barely seen any of them.
It used to be flat horses, but now it is French imports, isn't it?
Well, because the flat horses are being sold for £500,000 to go to various...
Those French horses are costing a bit too.
That is true. That is very true. And yeah, in recent years, I mean, Willie's won 5 of the last 6. The one who didn't win was Quilixios. So again, French horses going over to Ireland, proving themselves in those races, and also horses who've won over a little bit further over in France as well, because as AP was saying earlier on, this race does often throw up a future stayer and a future strong stayer as well. Barry was saying to me just before that he likes macho man. He said he'd like to be a macho man. I think that's what he was saying to me anyway.
Was he talking about you or the horse?
He was just having a little bit of a sing-song in the dressing room. It was really good. I enjoyed it. But you're right. I think he's got a cracking chance, Barry. I think he'll run really, really well.
Why are you sucking up to Barry now?
I don't know. I'm just amusing myself now. He was sent off favourite behind Proactive last time out, and he just looked a little bit ring rusty. Proactive beat him on that occasion. Speedfig's very, very strong, and not many of these in here have actually run to the level that can win a Triumph yet. They will improve, of course, but with Narciso Haas out, it's a fairly winnable race. And Macho Man, he looks like he will get better with time. He's maybe the Lulamba of the race, but he again looks too big compared to the price of Proactive.
I thought you were going to say Macho Man looks like me, but okay.
Yeah.
That's what he was singing in the dressing room.
Yeah, well, you weren't enjoying it the first time, so I just...
I totally respect your selection. You're going on the name that you like. Those notes, lads, we really will delve into those notes.
This is all it says in here. There's no stats. It's just favourite names.
Barry, talk to me about the Triumph.
Proactive was very impressive and furious. To me, he looks big, he looks raw, he looks like a horse for next year. Whether he'd be just ready and sharp enough for this time, I'm just concerned. Selma Devari ran a brilliant race behind Narciso Haas and Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. Her first run for Willie Mullins, she ran in France in November, so he didn't have her that long. So it's unusual for Willie to get one out as quick as that. I think she can improve again for that run. It'd be interesting to see Jockey Bookins.
She's a difficult ride. She'd take a bit of setting.
Yeah, but with the pace of the race, better ground as well. That was heavy ground in Leopardstown. They'd been going slower, so she would have been keener. Mark Walsh dictated a really good pace in Narciso Haas, quickened from the second last, so she had to do all her hardest work when Narciso Haas was going as quickest. So I do think she's a big shout. The value, though, we did a piece with David Casey yesterday on William Hill Online and the Inside Track. Mon Crusoe, who all bar fell at the second last in Nace in a maiden hurdle, was going to bolt up, finish fourth. He just said if that had won, it would have been half the price. So there's value in Mon Crusoe maybe.
Interesting. He also put up a horse, and you have the market in front of you, a bigger price further down that has yet to run for Willie. So this will be another rule they'll bring in if he wins. That was second to Proactive at
Ballon de Charnay.
Yes, for Ed Ware. And he gave him a very positive mention as well. And I know they'd love to win it with a horse that's never ran for them. AP, what do you think?
I think obviously Proactive and Macho Man, there can't be much between them. They obviously fancied Macho Man more. The first day he was favourite, so I don't know, why they're thinking he's going to beat him this time. I was against Selma Devari, but the more I look at it, the more I fancy her. I think she was very keen the last day behind Narciso Haas, and he looked the best of this age. As Barry said, everything went wrong for her. She's got a decent enough rate, 136 or something. She's going to be getting a £7 allowance as well. I think she's got a lot going for her. I'm not sure about Maestro Country or Manila Study.
Are the British runners any good?
Manila Study won here on Trials Day, and Meister Cunty won here as well. I'm not sure about either of them. I think obviously the Skeltons really like Meister Cunty. I think there's a good chance Willie could have 8 or 9 runners. So
it's every chance, yeah.
Yeah, and that's, has a 100-to-1 shot won last year. But I think Selma de Very ran to a very good level last year. I thought last time in Leopardstown, I was a bit worried that she might be too fast, but I think she looked like she had loads of pace, and as I said earlier, that normally stayers win this, but I actually think that she just might get in the allowance and that, and having the run in Leopardstown last time. I think she's got a lot going for her.
This year's champion Chaser won it 2 years ago, so
Yeah,
we'll good horses win it.
Yeah, so I like Selma de Very.
Leona, is it any wonder William Mullins is as prolific as he is when he has consistently in and around 10 runners in the Supreme, the Turners, the Triumph? These are the good horses of the future.
Of course they are, but I suppose the real big thing with a lot of the horses he has, and people talk about it more and more as the years go on, a lot of the horses he has, they're never for sale anywhere else, so there is not the opportunity to buy them. Even if you have the money, they just go to Willie privately, or they kind of get bought and go straight there. But I'm saying a lot of them end up there in the first place, and that's because of the master that he is. Why wouldn't you send them there if you had the opportunity, or why wouldn't you say I've got a very good one, and that's where you sell it into? So he's got the good horses he's got for a reason, hasn't he? But I agree with the guys. Again, the preview that we did for the staff, Andy basically told us that he talks to connections of Selma de Very, let's go with that far, and they didn't really know what to expect for her at Leopardstown, and it really was a bit of a fact-finding mission, which is why she was 17-2, and they couldn't believe how well she ran. So they didn't expect that. So if you think she's going to take a step forward, there's going to be a better horse on show. And when she was running over in France, they were literally burying her out the back of the field because she's a keen going type. And I think she's just still learning to race and settle. So I think we're going to see even better from her. So she'd be the preference. And then of the others, I do think if Manella Studdy was trained by somebody else,
I agree. It'd
be much shorter. Yeah, because was keen last time, hampered in the closing stages or when trying to make ground up. So I think Manella Studdy shouldn't be 7s, 8s. It's too big. I wouldn't be surprised to see that outrun the odds, but I think Selma de Very is the most likely winner.
2 votes for the Mayor, and strong mention for Manella Studdy, Macho Man for Ross and Barry.
The Mayor as well, Selma de Very.
Very strong on Selma de Very against Proactive in the Triumph. Now on to the most important race of the week, the William Hill sponsored County Hurdle. DK, this is a notoriously difficult race. I always think just go with graded form.
Yeah, it's 6-1 the field for the William Hill County Hurdle. Mercy is at the top of the betting. Charisma is in the market at 7-1. Carbow is a 10-1 shot. 12-1 Sinatra. Stormheart is 14s. Hello Neighbour 14-1. I Started a Joke is 14-1. Work Ahead 14-1, along with Absurd, Amsterdam, Bowen's on Fire, Rock Dino and 6.5, 16-1 and bigger the remainder. It's been a tale of 2 different Dan Skelton trained favourites here. They backed Fortune de Mer before he was ruled out of the race, and then they backed Live Conti before he was ruled out for the season, and then they turned to Willie Mullins, and it's Mercy at the top of the market. 14-1 when we went non-runner money back for the race, and he's now into 6-1 and tops the market. Sinatra has been well supported over the course of the last day or so, 12-1 from 16-1 as well. So those are a couple to keep an eye on, but this is seriously open, this race.
This is mega. Barry, I always think Paul Townend has a very good record at picking the right ones. He's rarely on the wrong one. He's got Mercia, he's got Carbo, he's got Stormheart. He's got a difficult decision to make here.
He has, and he generally does get it right. And he has that. Willie has a very strong hand, but as Dave says, it's an open race. The horse I like is Work Ahead. Second to Stormheart in Goran on heavy ground. Would prefer better ground. Beat William Money 7 lengths in a maiden hurdle last season. Missed most of the season in between. But he to produce that form on heavy ground, I thought he had a big shout. He's still in the champion hurdle as well. Now he's in here with a mark of 148, so he'd be £20 wrong in the champion hurdle. I presume they're going here. I can't understand why they'd leave him in the champion hurdle at 66-1, but maybe that reflects how strong he would be if he does line up in the county.
They obviously thought a lot of him. They ran him in the Supreme. He made the running. He stopped, but they obviously thought there was a big engine there.
Exactly, and that's what I feel. He was a horse who was highly thought of when he won his maiden in Leopardstown. Disappointed in the Supreme. We hadn't seen him for a lot of time since then, but he's a good run back behind Stormheart, as I say, on heavy ground, when he had a preference for better ground in his novice hurdle season.
Ross, there's as many angles as you want to take here, but one particular question I started a joke. Charles Burns, handicap hurdle, he's got good form.
Yeah, and he was, they need to get the money back after last time as well, so, but he'd been running some really good maiden and novice hurdles over the winter. Again, the advantage almost of the shocking ground in Ireland is I feel like when you see a good horse win one of those maiden or novice hurdles, they really have to pull something out of the bag. So yeah, he's got a big chance. He's off a very low weight. This often goes to a really classy horse. Again, you need a graded horse to win a handicap now at the festival, and it almost always goes to Skelton or Mullins. Mullins has got, I think, 11 in here. Skelton's got 6, even with horses being ruled out. Leonna was belting out some Sinatra in the dressing room earlier on again. Well, Barry was singing Macho Man, so she might give that one a chance. This
is water we're drinking, I swear.
It's what you're drinking. I've got a different bar in the dressing room. Nudawi, I thought was a little bit interesting. Now, he, on Constitution Hill night, as it will now be christened, he ran at Dundalk and finished third to Carolina Jetstream, who is a borderline group horse in a handicap. And it was over a mile, and he was having a prep for the festival, and he ran on to finish third. And I thought I was hallucinating, because I thought that cannot be Nudawi, the horse who won the Galway Hurdle and placed in this last year. He's about, 25 to 1?
Yep.
Again, finding the winner's hard enough, but he runs his race every single time in these big field handicap hurdles. And honestly, it was a huge run last time at Dundalk. He had no right to finish that close to that horse. So
I'm really impressed that you were watching Dundalk when we were all watching Southern. You deserve to win just for that alone.
Look, if it's impossibly hard handicaps at Dundalk, I'm watching. So yeah, I'm in.
That makes one of us anyway. Leonna.
Yeah, Nudawi's a horse who I put up a few times and it's panned out quite well, but the other horse in there that I feel similar about is Absurd. So I'm going to put him up again as a selection, and obviously he ran well last year. Cargeese, Nudawi, all those good horses have all finished around each other in this race in the past, and they've just done the same campaign, haven't they, as before. He races on the flat, he goes Chester, he goes Australia, he goes wherever, and then he comes back again. They freshened him up for this. I just think it's a tried and tested path. He's obviously got a win in the race, a place as well. And I'd be
and he's a big price.
Yeah, he's too big a price. Is he 14?
14, yeah.
Yeah,
and
I mean, him and Nudawi, I'd rather back him and Nudawi at those big prices than anything above either of them.
Yeah, because Townend's going to ride something else. He could end up being bigger on the day. AP?
I like Charisma. I think she could be better than their mark. I know she lacks a little bit of experience, but I think, I think she's better than her mark, and I think the ground will help her as well, nicer ground. It was good to soft when she won, or soft last time at Market Race, and I think there's a bit more to come from her. Whether she has the experience, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's rated a lot higher in time than she is now. So
she could be
unexposed, I think.
The one on the up. So Charisma for AP. Remind me. Absurd.
Absurd. I'm going to go with.
Work ahead
and
Nudawi.
Nudawi for the county. So off to the Albert Bartlett we go. DK, this is going to be a big field.
This is one of the more fascinating events of the week as far as I'm concerned. There's two that really stand out. Dr. Steinberg is at the top of the betting at 5-2. The Devil You Know and No Drama This End, who's likely to go elsewhere, both 4-1. Spinning a Yarn is 8-1. I'll Sort That is 10. Espresso Milan is 10-1. Sortudo is 12-1. The Passing Wife and Kazansky and Cryptic Jim, all 14-1, 16-1 and bigger the rest. The two that stand out here, second worst anti-post result of the week for William Hill, if this one was to go in, is The Devil You Know at 4-1. Was still as big as 20-1 after winning at Doncaster back in January. That's been mopped up, back to all rates down, and now is 4-1 and joint second favourite. And the other one is Apache Tribe here, who is in there at 16-1. Apache Tribe from 25-1, was a winner at Ayr, and Noel Kelly, his trainer, gave him a really good shout out on Racing TV following that success. Said this was the target, said this horse could go well, and Apache Tribe 16-1 from 25s now. And the last few days, Spinning a Yarn 8 to 1, has halved in price from 16 to 1. And in a rare plot twist, we'd probably want Willie Mullins to win this race. The devil you know is a really bad result for William Hill.
I don't think anybody in the world has ever said that they prefer Willie Mullins to win over Paul Nolan. Like, have you met Paul Nolan? He's like the nicest man you could ever meet in your life. One note, I think Noel Kelly said Apache Tribe goes straight to Aintree. He only said, I think it was on Nick Gluck's podcast yesterday. Okay. So all of the moving parts are continuously happening. I think Albert Bartlett form, Ross, can often be big price, experience, hardened.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the race that Dr. Steinberg won at the DRF has a shocking record for winners in this race, but it's often those who are beaten who, as you said, get that experience and then run on and then appreciate this, because I feel like the race at the DRF suits horses with a little bit more speed. He's obviously a good horse, but Kazansky, for example, was beating behind him, looked outpaced at a crucial point and came home. But the big thing for this is, and again, we're talking about the right type of horses, the right type of racers, is, especially in the recent years, is point-to-point winners. Now, you get bumper winners, you sometimes get flat horses come here, but point-to-point is a bred for this test, and it is a test for a young horse, 3 miles at Cheltenham. A lot of these will have, I mean, Apache Tribe was fantastic, he looked incredibly impressive, but he hacked around in an obvious hurdle that all of these would have won, and he will be an impressive horse. Now, to be fair, he has won a point-to-point, so he's on the list. Spinning the Yarn, Apache Tribe, Kazansky, Fruit de Mer, Klimt Madrik, and in particular a horse called King Books, again, if Henry de Bromhead, by this point.
Henry's going to have a great week, isn't he?
Well, he better do, otherwise, I'm going to be sleeping in the car park, I think, at this rate. But yeah, King Books, real eye-catcher behind No Drama This End at Cheltenham before Christmas. And again, point-to-point winner, stays really strongly. And now he's scraped home in a point-to-point, and he's looked constantly outpaced over hurdles, but he's going to get a proper test here. So you want a point-to-point winner who you know is going to get up the hill, because as you said, the bottom of the hill, you think 10 of them with a chance, and then 6 of them go out like a light.
He's got a lot of positive mentions in previews, particularly from Darragh O'Keefe. He's coming in here with the Manila Indo, still a maiden, beaten in that same race at Limerick, and he's going to be a big price. Barry. And
the big Westerner was second in this
same
race
yard
last year.
Yeah.
I like Dr. Steinberg. You know, the Leopardson race wasn't the strongest race in the world, but it's just how hard he pulled through the race, and he still picked up and he galloped to the line. And the further he went, the better he got. It takes a lot out of a horse to run as keen as he did, but yet he still finished out. So I wouldn't see any problem in him getting the trip. It's a tricky race, and that's why favourites have a bad record in it. He isn't a standout horse. There isn't massive confidence behind him, and the same thing on a lot of these panels, most are against him. But I do have to go back to the performance, what he did, having pulled so hard. He really impressed me on the day. Of the opposition, it's obviously you have to shuffle the deck and what's going to go where, but I'll sort that to be one. Sort two, though, if he went here, they'd be the alternatives if they lined up. But I do think Dr. Steinberg's the one to have to beat.
Class horse, Grade 1 winner, Leonna.
Not against Barry's view as regards the favourite, but again, it was one of those, it wasn't a race I had a massively strong view on the top end as regards prices. Glad to hear Ross saying about the point-to-point and the numbers and to back them up, because Dalston Laddis had 3 goes over 3 miles.
He's actually not running, because I fancied him, and I said it to Dan Skelton last night, and he was like, he goes to Aintree. I was like, well, what would you know?
Let's hope he changes his mind. For some reason, maybe he's watched this and decided.
He's running the other horse.
Moneygarrow.
Yeah, won over fences, all over 3 miles, have been winning ones, and he's looked good. And he was 25 to 1 if he was running. So I have even less of a view on it now.
Dr. Steinberg.
Yeah, there we go.
AP.
But it seems like every horse that you fancied 48 hours ago, the people have diverted elsewhere.
Yeah.
Put the mockers on them. I actually like King's Books as well. Thought he ran well behind No Dramas as Ross said. At 25 to 1, I thought he'd run well. And it's interesting that Dan Skelton has gone with Moneygarrow here. I wouldn't be surprised at 25 to 1 if he had a chance. I'm going to mention another one. Cryptic Jim won here in the dark of the Tizards the night that everyone was complaining about the race.
Oh yeah.
He's won his last 3. He hasn't beaten much, but it looks like he's crying out for a trip, and looks like he'll really stay.
That's what we like. We like the big prices.
I'd probably go King's Bucks one I like, but Cryptic Jim or Moneygarrow, they're big price horses, and
Yeah.
sometimes that happens in the Albert Bartlett. So
Can often pay to go big and avoid the favourite. So there's a variety of options there for the Albert Bartlett. But let's kick on to the big one, the main event of the week. Factifile, Django Bay, Gaelic Warrior, DK. Take us through the betting heat, the race of the week.
Yeah, this should be absolutely sensational. Factifile is at the top of the betting at 4-1 if he goes for the Cheltenham Gold Cup over the Ryanair. Django Bay is 11-2 along with Gaelic Warrior. The Jukebox Man is also 11-2. Galopin des Champs in the betting at 13-2. I Know the Way You're Thinking is 7-1. 80 Couleur is 8-1. Grey Dawning 14s along with Spillans Tower. Imperie Pass, Iron Maximus and Banbridge all 25-1. 33-1 and bigger. The remainder, the biggest anti-post liability for William Hill is Galopin des Champs. Always going to be popular. He was 10-1 as they crossed the line last year when he was beaten by I Know the Way You're Thinking. He's now in there in the betting at 13-2. And he's a real public horse, obviously, and without the bookmaker hat on, you'd love to see him regain his crown at 13-2. Another trio of bad results in the race would be 80 Couleur has been very, very popular. Spillans Tower, who was smashed up after winning the Cotswold Chase, 16-1 from 40s. And Grey Dawning as well is bound to be popular at 14-1 on the day. And in the last couple of days, the King George winner who you saw there, the Jukebox Man, 11-2 from 7-1, but it is one of the most open renewals you'll ever see for the Blue Ribbon event, the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and Galopin des Champs is going to be the worst result for William Hill in this race at 13-2.
And I'd say he could end up going off favourite if he gets here and the vibes continue to be positive.
Yeah, quite possibly. He could go off market leader for this race, I believe anyway, Galopin des Champs, because I think there'll be once he lines up and he's guaranteed a starter, he's going to be so popular on the day, and I think that 13-2 will definitely get shorter.
Okay. AP, we're going to have a big field. Where would you like to start?
it's a brilliant Gold Cup, best Gold Cup I've seen in a long time. You watch the King George and you think, you watch it so many times, you go, oh, that horse should have won, this horse should have won. I thought watching the King George, immediately after, I thought Gaelic Warrior should have won. I thought he was a little keen. I thought Harry Cobden went very slow and LA France in front. I thought he was the one horse that I thought if Paul was riding him again, he'd have rode him more forward, probably he did in the Durkin. I know a lot of lads said if he might have been too keen, he might not have stayed, but he looked like he was staying on there. Django Bay, a lot of people are fancying him. When he turned into the straight in Kempton, he had the best position of the other horses. And if you watch him going around the bend after they were pulling up, he was the first one that was pulling up. And I don't like that. I don't know that it cried out for a horse that was really, really staying on, that he was flying. Like, it looked like he was keeping going, but the minute Nico sat up on him, he was...
Stop.
The other two were Jukebox Man and David Casey keeps talking about how flying Galopin des Champs is, and everyone says about David Casey. I read something or someone told me the other day he was about the most intelligent man in racing, and I thought there was a time when he was living me about 25 years ago. I wouldn't have thought so, but anyway, Galopin des Champs. I think Gaelic Warrior is the most talented horse, but I couldn't have another way of thinking. He might win again, but how could you back him after doing what he did the last day? Hitchy Colors has done amazingly well. The likes of Spillans Tower and Iron Maximus, if one of them... You could actually go along here, if someone said one of those 10 horse won the Gold Cup, you wouldn't be completely shocked.
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Wide open.
But if someone said to you couldn't ride one horse, what would you'd... I don't know, I think it'd be a close call between Gaelic Warrior and Galopin des Champs. I think Gaelic Warrior is a very talented horse. He is obviously a bit on the edge in terms of...
If he settles, he's got a huge chance.
Yeah. So, I think one of those two. Gaelic
Okay.
Warrior or Galopin des Champs.
So I'm going to say Gaelic Warrior. You seem to be naming him more.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be very difficult for Paul Townend to get off a horse that he's won 2 Gold Cups on. And if he doesn't, then I'd probably just go with Galopin des Champs, and I can't believe I'd said that. But Paul Townend, I'm slating him for not winning the King George on him, but I'd much rather he was riding him in the Gold Cup than whoever else is riding him.
I'm interested you didn't mention the Jukebox Man, and I did have a look at the King George. Whether it's only my own misconception, its record of producing Gold Cup winners is actually not very good.
Oh, not very good, no.
One of the last 14 King George winners, am I right?
Which was it? Kicking King or something, was it? Was it Kicking King?
You have a pen here.
Cato.
Yeah, I'm right.
Cato Star, yeah. And yeah,
Well, the last
You
14.
keep talking.
there
give me 2
has
minutes.
been plenty. And actually, in fairness, the Jukebox Man did get beaten in Albert Bartlett. He was a bit unlucky not to win in Albert Bartlett, so he was. And that has produced the likes of Manila Indo and Bobsworth, and a few of them have won. So that's what I'm saying. You could make a very good case for Jukes Man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if he won, you wouldn't be shocked. But because there's so little between them all in the King George farm, and you can make a case, that's why I'm half thinking that, like, Gallup and Deschamps, for whatever reason, wasn't maybe as brilliant. Like, you went back to Punchestown last year and you thought, wow. And then you're kind of making little excuses for him this year that he missed the Durkin. He was kind of maybe rushed for Christmas, and then that had a hard race on it, left the mark on him maybe, and I don't know. I've no idea.
It's just like a big roundabout, folks.
I think Gallup and Deschamps would be...
It's just one of those fantastic races.
I'd just go with Gallup and Deschamps.
Leonna, you can't dismiss many of these with any great volition, because they will come back to bite you, and that's the key to this race. Is
There's a horse in here who could physically bite you, who you were very emotionally attached to when I was at Cheltenham, so we should ask you about Spillans Tower.
Well, yeah, he could kick you. Great Dawning will keep away from him this time, won't he? I'd see him being ridden patiently and hope they go a million miles an hour, and he'll hopefully finish off his race, but I don't know who's going to ride him, and it's a crying shame he's in one of the best Gold Cups of recent
we were both very excited at Cheltenham because he bounced around the paddock trying to get loose and all sorts. He looked really fresh and well, didn't he? And I think that even made you all more excited and more positive about his chances.
we knew he was back. It's very disappointing when you have one good horse and you know he's underperforming, and you watch him underperform, and then you hear what people say. You think, oh well, sure, if Willie Mullins had him, he'd do this, and that grates, like that takes its toll. So that was relief as a combination of factors last time.
Are you not going to let Jack Kennedy ride him, no?
Well, if Jack Kennedy is available, is Firefox going to run? See, I was talking about...
I won't have to ride that.
Barry.
If Firefox runs, Jack will be on Firefox, I'm no doubt.
That's bad form.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, as AP was saying about how close they all are, Jane, I completely agree with that. And then for that reason, you don't want a horse who's made mistakes late on and doesn't look like he may have really, really seen it out. So that's Django Buyout.
Go on, I like this. Go down process of elimination.
Gallup and Deschamps is older, so maybe he's just not showing up as well because he's 10 now. So we've got a lovely pair of young, unexposed legs in the Jukebox Man who jumps perfectly well. The slight concern is the flat track thing. He's been jumping well and easily on pretty flat tracks.
He nearly won an Albert Bartlett.
But that's what I mean. I mean, over fences, though. I just think he's the kind of horse that we have seen nowhere near enough of, as in at Haydock, in a good way. He's a big horse. Like, I watched him at Haydock in the paddock pre-race, and I was like, oh, he's really nice. And all he's done then is go from strength to strength. So I absolutely think he's the horse to take out of there. Out of the race that we watched, he would be the one I'd take.
The Jukebox Man, okay. Well, the Brits are fighting back, Barry. You've won the Gold Cup twice. Could you win it a third time?
To me, Gallup and Deschamps is the horse. He got beaten in the race last year. Didn't look to perform to his normal high level in the race, and then put up a brilliant performance at the Punchestown Festival on his next start. Now, he missed the John Durkin. He's had an interrupted time of it, but the vibes are very strong on his work, and that's from being in conversation with David Casey. Twice he's told me how well he is at home. They considered cheap pieces, but then when he started to work really well, that was scrapped. The concern for me with him is the fact that there's a chance they could water come Thursday, Friday. So if they are watering, I think that's a negative for him. Got beaten last year on drier ground. I think he's vulnerable on faster ground, and you're looking for an angle then on who is the one on better ground. The Jukebox Man ran a brilliant race in the King George. He looked really happy in those conditions. Galloped away, as AP said, around the corner, and off he went. Jumps really well. Was unlucky not to win the Albert Bartlett, so I think he handled the course well. He'd be my option if the ground was going to be genuinely good ground. But if it was on the easy side of good, I'd be with Gallup and Deschamps.
The king could yet be recrowned. Ross.
You want some stats? You were saying about the
Give
King George.
me some stats.
King George. So the last, this is going back to 1999. So Isterbrack's not in here. King George 6 from 35. 35 horses come straight from the King George to run this. Now, but the last one was long run in 2011, so it's been a long time. The best recent one is the Irish Gold Cup, last 3 years, and then Manila Indro back in 2021 as well. The worst one, unfortunately, is the Cotswold Chase.
I know.
Not great.
It's been a bloody disaster, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll take about 2,000 for looks like trouble for them. But again, these things do tend to change a little bit. And this year is an absolute crackerjack of a contest. I mean, you genuinely could make a case for every single one of them. Apart from the only one I do think Gallopin, he's going to have to pull out his very best and hope that 6 horses, that none of them improve for the trip and that none of them run to their best. Now, I think he'll run an absolute blinder, and I think he bounced last time out. I think my view from when I was watching is he ran too well first time out. They always say, everyone says, oh, he needs his first run. He ran a blinder first time out, and I think maybe he ran a little bit too well, and they've had to go back to the drawing board, and now he's working back to his best. But he's going to have to bounce back to the Gallopin of 2 years ago and hope that everything else goes to pot. Django Bay's 2 from 2 at the track. The Jukebox Man, I think, is the most interesting horse by some margin. Ben Pauling and Ben Jones this year have been phenomenal. You could have just backed their chasers blind, and you wouldn't be able to write 400 stats in a book. You don't do any research whatsoever. Just back them blind, you'd have made money. And yes, I know he was on the speed and he was in the right place, but his attitude, he came back. Remember, he was done on the line in a heavy ground Albert Bartlett. So he gets up the hill, he handles the track. He's young, he's unexposed, and the yard are absolutely on fire. And like Leonna says, he's a big horse. He jumps beautifully. I just think he's going to run a really, really big race.
Jukebox Man.
Jukebox Man.
Gallopin de Champ. Jukebox Man. Gaelic Warrior.
I'm not sure. Probably, I think Gallopin de Champ is safer, is he? One of the two. I'm not sure.
Gaelic Warrior / Gallopin de Champ.
If I could switch, maybe sort of like coming up the straight.
Wouldn't we all love that? The Gold Cup, it is a vintage race, and if you're not there on Friday, I hope you're tuned in. It'll be absolutely enthralling. The any other business for the Friday is, of course, the Mayor's Chase, the Hunter's Chase, and the Martin Pipe. We've mentioned Dino Blue, Ross. We've boosted her price. What's your any other business?
Any of the business on the last day would be Open Secret, I think is very interesting. In the Martin Pipe, the Michael Purcell Memorial Novice Hurdle has got a really good record of being a perfect springboard. It's just before the weights come out for Cheltenham, so it's a perfect springboard to get your horse prepped, primed, and come here to run a big race. Now, there was 4 runners in that. Willie Mullins won it with a horse that drifted from 5s to 16 to 1, which...
That was an awful race. I was there.
It was, but it's a perfect prep.
Because it was a sprint up the straight.
The horse who finished third, Timeless Treaty, got done on the line today by Blizzard of Oz in a much better race. They were miles clear.
Blizzard of Oz is like a 5-miler.
All right, Jane, you don't have to back it, but I might. I might have a tenner on.
Open Secret, okay. Okay, anything else?
I don't know. You tell me what you fancy, and I'll tell you why I don't fancy it.
I fancy Martin Brasel to win the Hunter's Chase.
Oh, it's got no... Which horse?
Panda Boy.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, yeah.
Thanks.
Which is a shame.
Barry.
I liked actually Wonderwall in the Hunter Chase. Last year's winner, beat It's on the Line. Sam Curling has him the last 2 seasons. He's only had 4 runs for Sam, but he's won all 4. I think he got to the front a little soon last time. He'd have beaten It's on the Line stronger had he just delayed it a little. So I think they'll have learned from that. And drying conditions are going to suit.
Wonderwall, okay. Oasis fan, yeah?
Yeah, and he was named that before the man who owns him bought him, who brought us all to see Oasis in Crow Park.
Oh.
We enjoyed Wonderwall that night.
And you were singing it in the dressing room earlier as well, weren't you?
I wasn't in this dressing room.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That was at dinner.
It was, yeah.
Okay. Leonna, is there anything you like in those races?
I feel like I want to move the microphone, ask you if it's going to run in the race first, and then say, in case it isn't.
Were you in this dressing room when all this was happening?
No, I was not. Panic Attack in the Mayor's Chase?
Yes.
So that's why I don't like Dino Blue, because I much prefer Panic Attack. Yeah. I just think she's been winning
She's had a great season.
Quality races. Yeah, like Dino Blue's been winning small fields, AP. Small fields, yes, been winning by wide margins, whereas Panic Attack's been proper putting races to bed, big fields behind her, jumping for fun. I mean, when she won that race at Newbury, the day of the Fighting Fifth, all the Scotlands were up at Newcastle watching her, and it was unbelievable. She was so good. So, yeah, Panic Attack for me in the Mayor's Chase.
In the Mayor's Chase against the Fav. AP?
I think Dino Blue's banker of the meeting. Very solid. Good. I know she made a mistake. I think she made a mistake earlier on this season somewhere. but I think she's very solid. I think I like charisma in the county hurdle. I think she could be well handicapped. Martin Pipe is impossible.
Can Derek O'Connor get it on the lines head in front 4th time?
Not sure. There's too many question marks about him. I don't think he's. I think it's too open. It's too open a race, so it is to be banking on him. And the Martin Pipe's really hard. And I think Rockdino's favourite. But you could make Willie's got 5 or 6 in there. You can make a case for him. So they have God knows which one.
Yeah.
Ervin Titleman won the Mayor's Novice here last year of Henny de Bromheads. I thought if she ran there, could run all right too.
A forgotten mare who hasn't been seen in a long
Martin
time.
Pipe is such a hard race, and you look how many good horses win the Martin Pipe.
Yeah, often pays to wait to see who's going to ride. Yeah, conditional riders race.
So, would you be inclined to wait and go with whatever of Willie's is favourite? They've got so many good ones in there. I don't know. There's a lot of good horses that won it. Like he's won it a lot of times. The likes of Sir de Champ, and a few of them have won it. Galloping de Champ. There's any gods in Mountain.
Lultavic, good horses.
Who won it last year? You know what I mean? You have to be good to win it. So, maybe Rockdino in the Martin Pipe.
Oh yeah, Rockdino.
Maybe.
You forget about him. Yeah. Okay, that concludes day 4. So we're going to go straight to naps. Ross.
I think they're all having a nap. That's the problem. Naps are the Friday or the whole week?
The whole week.
I haven't got an answer for that. I think Hartwood, Solness, they're the two I think are overpriced and will run.
That's
really
your each
race.
way, or are you going on the nose?
Oh yeah, let's get Golden Ace, Cargeezy, Hartwood, Solness, all in each ways, and then retire at the end of the week.
See, there's a few people down there with notepads now. I hope they got that.
Well,
she said it herself. Fair play.
I think the 4 hour fancy: Hartwood, Solness, Golden Ace, and I forgot what was the other one?
Cargeezy.
Cargeezy.
Yeah.
Okay. Barry
That will run well.
Geraghty, your nap of the week.
Kopek the board and
The Arkle.
bet of the week, Ballyburn and the Stairs.
10-1. We like it. Leonna.
Can I have 3?
The floor is yours.
Okay. Mashborough, Mash and 2, and the Jukebox Man. They're the 3.
Strong in the Gold Cup. Okay. AP.
Dino Blue, and I like King's Books and the Albert Bartlett each way.
Big price each way.
Yeah.
Dave, the floor is yours.
And I like No Dramas Ascent. I think No Dramas Ascent will win them.
Proper novice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like one that Ross mentioned earlier, Cocktail Divan at 4-1, and The Devil You Know would be the other one at 4-1. So 4-1 double there.
You just want to get Willie Mullins. Thank you very much, guys. That concludes our William Hill Cheltenham Preview Night for 2026. We hope we've guided you in the right direction. Thank you for your company this evening, and best of luck.
Yeah.